and I can like be like a real old man. Just
We'll have a Zoom bonfire. How does that sound? It sounds sad. God, I miss human interaction.
I really want the dressing gown that Scrooge wears.
Mm-hmm.
In A Christmas Carol, he always has a really snazzy dressing gown.
I really wish I had the money that Scrooge has. That'd be a...
What, from 100 years ago or 130 years ago, whenever that story takes place?
Yeah, I'd love to have £2.
Shillings of gold and silver, or whatever they're made of.
Yeah,
that would be pretty sweet to have really old gold and silver. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it'd be better than the mops in my wallet.
Oh. Okay. Well, let's get from money to politics. And good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Smudcast number 159. We are fixing broken politics through social media. And a video from Extra Credits. You can imagine just
Let me guess. I'm going to make a prediction. It's going to be based on, getting rid of anyone who has the wrong opinion.
It's definitely not going to be based. It's definitely not going to be based.
It's not going to be based, period. It's not going to be based on fact, or logic, or evidence, or anything.
Well, the idea to have politics and you sort of not cross-reference, but put it next to the idea of social media is a little strange, and I don't know why you're even bothering to have that in a conversation about it, because you could have social media be about anything. You could have a topic specific to politics you could talk about, but if you're fixing it, I don't see how technology like social media is going to change anything, aside from giving you more voices to listen to. So, hard to say.
Because ultimately, while media is influencing, I think, politics, it's more of like a multiplying effect. So it's not necessarily going to fix the issue, it's probably just going to make it less worse if you, quotation marks, fix social media.
I think it probably speeds up, because you can interact with way more people way more quickly.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that you could, if you were to fix social media, the best you would do is possibly slow down the insanity. I don't think you'd ever fully stop it.
Slow down the insanity.
Honestly, I think it would do a lot, because it's sort of the cause of it. They would just have to... The fix of social media is hamstringing it almost completely, because there's so many addictive elements to it.
When you look at...
if you try and sort it out, something else will replace it.
But when you look at I don't know, Trump
Pandora's
and Biden, so one of the most controversial things, was the election, which happened more recently. I think if you remove social media out of the equation, you still would have the same thing happening, just to a lesser extent. It's still going to be happening. It would have happened without the internet or social media.
But I would have said to a lesser extent is even valuable.
And if you want any evidence to suggest that it would happen, there are many times in American history. If you want to go to the Civil War, we can definitely go to the Civil War, where people have become very polarized without the need of social media.
Civil War politics on Twitter? Oh my god.
That's the point.
That would be some comedy.
There's a huge amount of people on Twitter who are of a certain disposition, so you can call those echo chambers, you can call those block lists, or whatever you want to associate with the stream of news that is only one-sided. And it's kind of entertaining just to be on Twitter, to listen to all these people who don't know what's been going on with the voting in America, or what are policies and why they have multiple sides and not just one side. So it's kind of funny, and it doesn't matter because I'm Canadian. I don't really care what Americans say. It's more of a spectator sport for me. And they say crazy things on either aisle, and I'm just like, wow, could you guys, can you come together sometimes? So I try to do that, being the nice, gentlemanly person I am, not all the time on Twitter, but, who are you? Where are you from? You're from Canada. Your ideas don't even count. It's like, sure, okay.
You're a deep state.
Get the fuck out of here, you leaf.
Foreign agent. It's like, am I? Yeah, you're working for Russia. Am I?
No.
Yeah, never mind that we meddle in Russian politics all the damn time.
Yeah.
Another thing, I suppose, actually, I think social media has helped in some cases, in terms of the internet in general, because of things like the internet, politics has now become a lot more generational, and it's not always necessarily based on your area. So, for instance, even though you can have a very generalized, I don't know, Labour area or Republican area or Democrat area, just an area which is still generally considered very progressive or traditional. It's now going to be a lot more diverse in like what those people think because they're being exposed to more ideas. So if you were to have a civil war today in America, it wouldn't be strictly geographical. It would be almost intergenerational.
Ideological.
Archaeological? What?
I think it would.
Although the ideologies
it would
belong
be.
to different generations and different. It's going to be a lot more mixed. It's going to be more neighbor against neighbor instead of all your neighbors having the exact same opinion, which is kind of what
that's
the
why it's
environment that led to the
yeah.
first American Civil War.
Not
That's why I said
really, honestly.
Yeah,
When it would No. So the idea in America is most of the fervent people on the left are really they're all bark and no bite. So if any sort of conflict were to actually be released, it would be neighbor to neighbor because the people walking around with guns being usually pretty peaceful. Yeah. Being Chads, they either wouldn't really want to mess with them, or they're like, yeah, good for you, go. So it's, I don't think it would be a neighbor on neighbor, violence in the street, because a lot of the times those violent
I'm saying that the reason why it won't happen is because, your neighbor would be, I don't know, liberal or conservative, and you would be a different one. So if it were to happen, it would end up being neighbor on neighbor, and there wouldn't be any kind of strict lines, which means it'd be much more difficult for a civil war to break out than if you had an entire polarized. Like, imagine if you had an entire polarized state of Republicans versus an entire polarized state of Democrats. It draws a very clear line.
Well, so the Civil War
versus Texas.
Well, the Civil War was mostly based on the attacking slavery was attacking the base of their economy, and I could see how absolutely threatening their way of life would rally a whole state, a whole section of people to be like, actually,
really that much about slavery. Slavery only really came into the picture much later because I think it was what George Washington, if I remember correctly. He didn't want to make it a. Who am I thinking of? Who's the Civil War?
How was it George Washington?
Lincoln. That's it. Lincoln.
For 100 years.
Yeah,
Lincoln. Sorry, Lincoln didn't want to make it a. All American politicians are the same to me.
George
Washington. Lincoln didn't want to make it. Shut the fuck up. Lincoln.
They're all straight white men. Is that?
Lincoln didn't want to make it about. What was it? Slavery at the beginning. It wasn't until much later that it did become about slavery.
Yeah, it was about.
He didn't want to lose more slave states. To start with.
He didn't want to break up the Union. That was what the big thing was about. And also, there is a huge element to the South where they wanted their states' rights. They didn't want the federal government to go over. Now, a lot of people say that's just a fucking excuse. But living in the South, that's what they're all pumping out about. And that's what they hold on to with, like, the Confederate flag. But it really doesn't disappoint.
I don't think most people that fly the Confederate flag now are thinking, I want to bring back slavery. Like, even if you could argue...
Boy, we could do with a lynching.
I really don't think that's what most people flying the flag...
It really depends on what part. I'd say maybe the city people that fly the Confederate flag are more states' rights, but the rural people...
I don't know. As a member of the racist community,
as someone who lives in the deep South,
as a representative.
But anyway, the point was that I was originally trying to make is that because of the
black man,
because of internet and social media, I think that it actually has become a lot more difficult for a civil war, but in a country, just because of the more diversity of thought in a localized area.
I think it's more that we can communicate with each other to the point where we can solve issues before it comes to violence. It's usually when that breakdown happens, which is usually state sanctioned. But yes, I see your point. I'm just saying something completely different that you're not saying.
Okay.
All right. Well, we got 9.
So what you're saying is we should align our society along the lines of the lobsters.
Oh, gee. Yes.
Yeah, the lobsters are obviously superior.
When
be
was
a
the last time
fucking
you heard of
lobster.
lobsters having a civil war?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean,
When did you hear of a racist lobster?
What are those rainbow shrimp lobsters? They fucking punch the shit out of any of their problems. It just goes away. Beautiful.
All right. Let's get on with this. This is 9 minutes and 30 seconds, so it should take
Oh
us
my
about
God.
2 hours.
All right. Wait. Okay. When was this released? That'll be good context.
This was done in October of this year, and it's
Of last year.
Wow.
Sorry,
Wow.
Oh, yeah,
Last
year.
year.
Ooh, Cedar, jeez. Come
Ooh,
on.
I'm on it.
160,000
Bruh.
views, and it's a 2.47 million sub channel. It's extra credits, so
Wow.
Ah,
lots
how
of
far they
people.
have fallen.
Oh, Cedar, it was released in October 2020, Part 1. Because we're in 2020, Part 2 now.
Oh Jesus! Don't remind me. I just want to put that year behind me.
It's still gonna happen. This is the
But
This is-
Look,
it's
you know what?
2020 part 2.
Part 2, yes.
The clock struck 12, and I ripped off my mask, and I went to shit in the street, and I'm like, quarantine's over, baby.
What the fuck?
She lives in California. It's okay.
Yes, I live in California.
It hit midnight on December 31st and changed to December 32nd, 2020.
Here's Joe Crazy. Shiny. Oh, yeah, I remember the famous U.S. President Abraham Washington.
Message coming in.
Don't we all?
Patching it through.
Oh damn! If only we could have an
uh,
Abraham Washington.
Adolf Linkler.
No, the best U.S. president is Theodore Roosevelt. Good old Teddy. Look up that man. If you want to know a Chad, that's a fucking Chad.
Look, I just view all the past American presidents as just being one. I don't really try to separate them in my brain. They're not important enough to me.
I can see why.
Wait, they're just
someone not
a
American.
person, right? Like they did something, and then they just died.
They did something.
I'd say that's
Which
almost
number?
borderline
I didn't say they did anything
offensive, but I
important,
can
did
see why
they?
you wouldn't care about anyone but the current
I think
president.
Nixon is quite
Hmm.
different, though. I mean, he's kind of.
Yeah.
Nixon.
like
Like
Bush
Nixon
and
was
Trump,
alright.
they're the same person, right?
Nixon was not a
after
good
his,
person.
After his
What do you
career
mean?
in Futurama, he,
Huh?
it's
Yeah,
easily a different
yeah.
Oh
president.
gee.
Yeah. There's no
Yeah,
way they'd have him
never
on
mind.
Futurama if he was a bad person. Come on. Don't go on a cartoon show if you're a,
Yeah,
good, if you're a
exactly.
bad person.
I know, comparing Abraham Lincoln and Andrew Jackson, same person. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
What's that? What was
The guy that
it's like the
genocided the
famous,
Native Americans.
It's like the famous
Fucking
34th president, Yankee Doodle. He was good.
I'm pretty sure he's somewhere in there. Look, I only know 5
Anyway,
presidents.
We're gonna get going here. So
Enough American history lessons.
let's listen to Mr. I don't even know this guy's name. He just has, you know, his voice. It's like the extra credits guy. So let's just start.
Keith.
Welcome back, everyone. The last
Oh, no,
time
this
we
isn't
did
the regular
Extra
guy.
Politics, we wanted to get across the idea that the political system we're involved in the United States is basically one big
Dumb.
game. Granted, a broken game in need of patching. So this season, we're going to try and tackle some of the biggest problems in our political system through coming up with ideas based around game design.
Maybe it's not the
9
political
minutes.
system that's
Woo!
broken. Maybe it's the people.
Those
Maybe
cartoon
people are just
characters were thick.
Maybe
They
it's the
had
fact that
fat asses.
corporations lobby for exceptions that break our constitutional rights in a fair playing ground. And oh my god, oh no, I knew it. Ooh,
So apparently, the whatever voting system is a game or politics. I don't know what he's getting at here, but I'm quite sure people don't see politics as a game. That would undermine the idea of.
He's
It
saying the analogy if it was a game.
yeah, I think he's like, okay, let's gamify aspects of politics to fix them. So I think he's just using that as a lens. You know,
Listen, it's
the
not-
typical
it's an
people
analogy.
applying what they know
I-
to politics, and it's not probably the best
To be honest with
way.
you, I think that most political parties, apart from the Labour Party in the UK, treat politics seriously. They don't treat it as a game.
I mean, just
Good
because you're
one.
treating it seriously doesn't mean it's not a game.
Oh,
They want to make
You
it
have to see
sound
it as
cool.
a
It's
game,
like,
but remember,
it's
it's not a game.
I think
Let's
they're trying to
put
be
it this
like,
way, let's put it
oh,
this way,
in the Game of
you don't have-
Thrones, you either win or you die. That's like the same thing in American politics, man. Like,
Oh, it's like the Orlesians. See the
Like
the Grand
I've seen
game.
people
The
literally
French.
say. I've seen people literally say that we need a system like the blue shell in Mario, where
What?
you apply that to politics.
Whoever's in the league.
So you
yeah,
just
whoever's in the league
randomly
gets-
you just randomly take the richest person and just take everything, and it's just random.
We did that. They did that in France. It didn't end
try
very
not
well.
to take those types of suggestions seriously, because when you apply a monicum of a brain cell, it's like painful to think about, but it's a good
It's
ha
like,
ha ha.
Cool it
No.
with the
Come on, these are the same sort of people who go, if only we had like Ministry of Magic would solve things. Oh, gee, just shut the fuck up. You don't know anything about politics.
Magic was known for being shit. I mean, I'm not even that big of a Harry Potter fan, and I don't know the Ministry of Magic was completely ineffectual. No.
So yeah, some of the people who come up with these.
Do you know what we really
fixing
need?
politics,
We need a galactic empire to come here and invade.
I love democracy.
That's an idea.
You
Well,
know,
of
here's
the
the
Almost-
thing.
we almost had one, but everybody like Gandhi and shit wanted independence, so Britain had to give it up. Don't blame us. We were so close.
So
Gandhi's
close
a
to
little
ruin the world.
sweaty
Yeah, fuck
Anyway,
Gandhi.
Put
the
some
So,
fucking
uh,
trousers on.
Gandhi, the
video.
warmonger.
So gaming and
Well, let's not
politics.
start-
Here-
let's
here-
not
here's a
insulting
video.
Gandhi.
we're gonna watch it
Fuck Gandhi.
right now.
Gandhi killed billions with his nukes.
That is true.
And while these topics are immensely
Based.
complex and can't possibly be covered completely in a short video, we still feel like starting the conversation and pitching some
Make
larger,
the video
possibly
longer then.
difficult ideas is a good place to start. So with that in mind, we'd like to begin with a relatively
Howard.
new issue close to all of our phones.
What this
I
feels
mean,
like.
hearts, social media. Sorry, I was doom scrolling.
No cares.
Back in 1997, the way that human beings would communicate with one another changed forever with the launch of 6 Degrees, considered to be the very first social media platform. And that shift in how we share information may have opened the door for forces
it?
designed to break down democracy's functioning at
I'm already being irritated by his voice.
It's the way he puts in
Smudge,
question.
I am
Ah.
talking like this all the time. I am constantly raising my voice all up and down.
It's
I am doing this really annoyingly.
he's condescending us. That's what it sounds. It sounds condescending.
Well, he's being condescending in what he's saying, and like he's putting it
yeah.
on his voice as well.
Yeah, the other guy. What
Honestly,
happened to the other guy?
I was agreeing with Dollface there.
What happened
yeah,
to OG
what
extra
Dolphin
credit
said.
guy? Did they kick him out for not being woke enough?
Oh,
And
but
remember,
Smudge,
if you don't
remember
agree
the
with
90s,
me,
don't you?
you're a Nazi.
I just
Number
find the-
15.
Yeah,
Burger
6 degrees.
King foot lettuce.
No, 6 degrees. 6 degrees. What? I've
Yeah,
never heard
so
of that. As
this
a
is before the age
social
of Windows
media.
98. I don't think 6 Degrees when it launched was that popular or worked out so well. And the main aspect of that was talking about politics. You had mail servers, you had use groups or Usenet where there's giant mail change. People were replying to everyone in giant groups. There were all kinds of bulletin boards before the internet, and there were all kinds of forums that popped up on all kinds of websites where they could talk about things. So eventually we got to platforms where we can communicate in large quantities, where people were popularized. So you get Facebook, and there's groups there you could talk to. So I don't think that's where it all started for communications about politics. That was just merely the first example of a prototype for social media. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. I thought I'd ask because I've never ever heard of 6 degrees.
Well, you have to look at the
6
history.
degrees
on a-
literally
on
is
a
the
thermometer-
worst thing
thermometer.
in the world. It has caused
world.
Trump, the rise of
Shani,
Trump.
Shani, I swear to God, I know you're joking, but stop doing it. It's irritating enough from him.
That is the point.
It covered an
Do
area
you not
the
know
size
of this
of
great
Wales.
thing? Social media.
So if you look at the
Oh, shit,
history,
my
See,
popcorn.
this voice is
9 minutes of
intentionally
this.
designed to be horrible.
So the idea of social media
I'll stop.
in the capacity of Twitter is very similar to the concept of instant messaging. So you have a relay of a platform for the server. You send a whatever 140 character limit to a thing, and it's usually to an individual or a group. It was never public. So the idea to turn that into a bulletin board style format was just the next step. And we already had the technology to do that. We were all using JSON. We were all using these server calls. So it wasn't that hard to go from texting messaging like ICQ or Messenger Live. Then it got changed to MSN Live or all this other stuff. And then now we have Twitter because it's the same idea. And we still have the same properties for public and private discourse. So you can set those up. It's the same idea. So it's pretty natural that something like that, as simple as Twitter, Twitter started, it wasn't that big a deal. It was like, yeah, whatever. People just, instead of using instant messaging, they were using Twitter because it's easier. And then the same concept with Facebook. People were using MySpace, but MySpace was more oriented towards, I think, music and just goofy web design. Imagine having at the end of the 90s when the internet just started, having all these GeoCities pages, but on MySpace. It's the same idea. So it was kind of a proto Facebook, and then Facebook went, okay, we're going to refine that, make it more accessible, put a heck of a lot more into marketing, and make us the bigger platform. So it became a community sort of style where you have people around you, friends and neighbors and what have you, all joining hands online on Facebook.
I'd like to put friends and all that in quotation marks.
Yes.
Because literally, it was just people you tolerated enough to see your holiday pics.
I don't even use Facebook anymore. Everyone's on the cool places like TikTok and.
I don't know. Is TikTok still a thing?
What was that?
We don't talk about that here. We don't do that here.
See there. There's a line. Okay, there's a line. I'll take misogyny, racist jokes, and all that, but TikTok, no. Wash your mouth out.
I see. Okay.
Women. SMH.
SMH.
Sma.
Smother. Shake my British head.
Its very core. For generations, the only people capable of broadcasting information to large audiences were, for better or worse, professionals who followed certain rules, like including relevant content.
Fucking god.
Professionals that follow certain rules.
Journalists.
Journalists were not always professional. They never lied. They always lied.
I want to point out that large portions of journalism have not always been so progressive and have actually been legitimately racist, like in the past.
Remember, kids, only listen to
It's so much better when the only information that you have available to you is carefully curated by people who with vested interests. Like, that's so much better, right, guys?
Do you remember?
It was so better when people could work together to create a narrative, to lie to the population.
Yeah. I'm sure all the Brits in this call have heard of the Hillsborough disaster, haven't they?
Yeah.
I'll lie and say yes, but I haven't.
The football fell down. Football stadium, fell.
People.
The British media lied through their teeth about what actually
I remember it now. I think I know about it.
And they vilified the Liverpool fans, and they absolutely were disgusting and horrible. And it's taken until the last 2 or 3 years going through court to get the Liverpool fans and family have sued the Sun because they lied that much. Oh, they were saying that Liverpool fans were stealing money from dead bodies and urinating on dead people and attacking medics when that never happened. The Sun newspaper. This is back in 1989 when this happened.
At a stadium? Yeah. There are dead bodies people were looting from? Or was it like a riot?
No. At the Hillsborough football stadium, a stand collapsed and killed 96 people, I think it was.
Ooh.
It made a big change in football stadiums. It made it all like seating stadiums because before then, football matches used to stand up. Anyway, the Sun newspaper, to get sensational headlines, made up stories about how the Liverpool fans were attacking medics, stealing money, and urinating on police officers and dead bodies and stuff like that when it never happened.
But remember,
the
kids, listen to state-sanctioned journalists.
The chief constable, the superintendent of Hillsborough Police, had to he quit his job like 5 years ago in disgrace because he was found out to have falsified police records. So, yeah, journalists, they've not before social media, they weren't fucking saints of fucking truth.
Yeah. They're always
just have to look at what they said. What they said during the miners' strike in the 80s. A lot of that was lies that have come out. Because there's a 30-year what do you call it?
Anniversary?
No, with a Secrecy Act. After 30 years, the Freedom of Information Act, you can get hold of access. Now, obviously, the 80s are now 30 odd years ago. So a lot of the headlines, a lot of the police
40.
records have come out, and well, I'm just saying it's over 30 years. But now all these are coming out. It turns out that the newspapers were lying through their teeth about stuff in the 80s, and even before that. You have to remember, BBC journalist said Jimmy Savile was a wonderful children's presenter, and there was nothing wrong with it right up until 2011 when he died.
When he turned out that he was actually a predator or something. Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
All right.
So journalists.
Here's a super chat that if you guys want to do in the extra credits voice is up to you. Who wants to read it? Does anyone want to try?
I'll give it a shot. What is it?
Oh, it's the Have you ever heard of the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Let's see. Have I ever told you about the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
You need to lift your voice up and down a bit more.
Sorry. Have I ever told
you ever heard
about the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Have you ever? Have I ever told you about the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
It's not a story the Jedi would tell you.
There we go.
I can't.
It's not a story the journalists would tell you.
Oh, geez.
And all of a sudden, you're a Nazi. You didn't ask for this. You didn't choose this. But there it is.
It's treated no differently than any other character.
It's like he's jovial about telling you
I hate sand. It's coarse and rough, and it gets everywhere.
It's coarse and rough, and it gets everywhere.
From my perspective,
you're leaning too
social
much
media is evil.
Everywhere.
Go a little bit less Captain Kirk.
Wait. Okay, so we gotta hear Smud's attempt. We gotta hear Smud's attempt.
Captain Kirk.
There's not so many pauses like Captain Kirk. It's more just going up and down and almost asking like it's a question every time.
It's almost a question every time.
Because when you ask a question, it's like, what the hell was that? And then, but you're just going, have you ever heard of the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Have you
it's
ever?
Not a story the Jedi would tell you.
That's about it.
Just put commas
It's not a story the Jedi would tell you.
Darth Kennedy the Destroyer.
What?
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Anyway, journalism is a sacrosanct, wonderful profession, apparently. And
nothing's changed about journalism. Other than it's becoming more and more irrelevant, and they become more desperate.
No, the only thing that's happened is social media has allowed the average person to call out journalism, and it's become quite apparent that they've been lying for years.
The only negative is that it does also, while it has so many advantages of allowing more lanes of communication, it does also mean that you also get like pockets of people who like also just spread lies, just like journalism.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's
like you do legitimately get like Nazi discourse. As much as they're not a huge thing, and people keep raising like Nazi Discord, they're everywhere. These alt-right gamer groups. It's like they're not They're not a big deal.
Use Telegram.
But yeah, they do still exist. I knew someone who used to be a big part of one.
I miss the days where we'd have like news sections where they do cute shit like, oh, this squirrel can water ski. But I guess that's what Facebook is for now.
Top 5 things straight men should put in their ass.
That really
Number
wasn't
one.
Not just the men, but the women and the children
The
too.
wife's fist.
Especially
Number
the children.
2. Burger King foot.
Oh.
Oh god, don't put that in your ass.
Oh no.
Here's another super chat from Win Wesley. Hey, thank you. Journalist lying to the Black Dahlia's mother, saying her daughter had won a beauty contest just to get information. Journos have always been jerks. That's okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's getting the information, but it's still the idea that
Well, it's
like
shitty
whether
shit,
it's state sanctioned or whatever, it's still just like this. Like it's what qualifies them to
the Black
get
Dahlia, an
truth.
unsolved mystery. It sounds familiar. Like murder
Yes.
case.
they did make a movie
Yes.
after it, yeah. So
Is that unsolved? Is that
Yeah,
one of the unsolved?
Anyway, they've
Yeah,
got a video
that's
to
what it
watch.
was, yeah.
It's 9
Oh,
minutes
yeah.
long, and I will do this before I start slitting my wrists.
okay.
Too late.
Text, following FCC guidelines, and properly vetting sources.
Did you
This
just say
system
fuck?
created fairly reliable news sources that for the most part could be
Oh my
trusted.
fucking
Which
God.
was
No,
important because healthy
wrong.
democracies
No.
require
Wrong.
well-informed
No.
citizens.
No,
If
that
news
is not
sources are
correct.
poor, how can we possibly make wise decisions about which policies and people to support? We can't. Cut to now, and many people's main
Okay, even if they followed all these guidelines and get all their facts
Fuck me,
right,
dude.
nothing is stopping someone
we
in
don't.
power from doing whatever the hell they want. So they
Yeah.
can say all these things
not
like, we're going to do
bullshit,
this and that. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. And you can look to pretty much any politician over the course of your life who said they were going to do something and it didn't happen. So
Do these people not know about Watergate? Oh, like, all the other things that have gone wrong and all the other
Know
scandals.
about Gamergate.
just go do a Google
Yes.
search of top 10 lies of current whatever political party, and you'll get a massive list of all the things they said they were going to do
Mhm.
and didn't.
Didn't journalism also keep a lot of the horrors of like Hiroshima like on the down low?
Yes.
I wouldn't be
Uh,
surprised.
Like
They
there was
also,
huge hush hush campaigns on like how badly the Japanese population were affected, and said, "Oh look, no Japanese, they're totally great people. They don't have any problems that we've caused at all."
Well,
The
I mean,
not
Japanese
to
were
say they
around the
weren't
explosion.
wanted,
Look
but
at
we
the
didn't.
their own
being
thing to
bodies.
cover up.
Well, you have to remember that a lot of news in the 40s covered up the concentration camps
Hmm.
because they thought it would be too much for the it would be too much.
You know,
for the population.
German journalists never lied.
Mm.
No.
No, I
Yeah.
can't think of a single
If there's
case
anyone
that
I would
Germans
trust
ever
the
lied
most,
about
it's
anything.
Germans.
Soviet newspapers always told the truth.
No. But see, it's because the journalists have my politics, so they wouldn't lie to me. It would be factually the truth because it's my opinion, and my opinion is always the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is the person that said,
newspaper says
you know,
the gulags
he-
are closing.
He
Don't worry.
thinks that this was it like Call of Duty and Battlefield games. They're causing real life Nazis
Oh, is this? Yeah.
because you play as
You
a
shouldn't
Nazi
have
and you
to
might be
play a
sympathetic
Nazi
to a Nazi.
And a game with the Nazis. You didn't choose to play a Nazi.
completely
Oh,
false.
What?
I never
they
You
played
picked up
said
and
that-
purchased a World War II game.
They said that what was it? They should put handicaps? Not handicaps. The opposite of a handicap. Making it more difficult for the Nazis.
Accessibility.
Message
Oh no!
Yeah, so
no,
you had
Patch
no,
your
no,
throat.
had
that
to-
you'd
it should be
handicap
more
the
difficult.
Nazis.
you have to
We
like
don't want
have
them to win.
longer load times to be a Nazi, and you also had to like have
Fucking God.
harder chances to win.
Yeah, like
And every
That-
time you shot someone, there'd just be a picture of a Jew shaking his head at you, going,
Oh,
"Disgrace."
think
Every
that's a really
time it's like
bad
this guy
moral
had a
sense.
family.
That's
this
a
guy
really
had a
bad moral
family.
thing.
We
It's like
want
doing
to
the right
feel-
thing is really
we
easy.
feel bad
That's the moral of that.
Yeah.
Or maybe people want to play a game and they don't care about
Yeah,
the soldier
exactly,
they're
it's just a
playing. They
fucking
just
game.
want to, hey, here's a gun. I want to go
That's-
shoot that guy over there. Bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
Bang, bang, bang. Hey,
You see, you don't want to fight me because your gun goes pew pew. Mine goes brrr.
Mhm.
that's what the American tanks did.
that's-
Brr.
That's wonderfully off topic. Let's
That
try.
was more like a kaboom than a brr.
You're right.
Kind of like this conversation.
Let's see how he fixes broken
A
policy.
starting source of information is social media. And because the information presented by social media still feels like these older forms, we've
Why is
ported
he
over some
including
of that.
TikTok?
Is
TV
TikTok
good.
like a big news organization.
Old screen good,
I mean,
new screen bad.
I somewhat understand Facebook. I mean, people don't get their beliefs from Facebook posts and Twitter posts, but people will post like links on Twitter and Facebook.
Mhm.
I'm surprised he hasn't included YouTube in that, because YouTube is like
Yeah.
a platform, as in where
Yeah.
people put their own videos
That's
and
like the
such.
most radicalizing, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of long form content to discuss your arguments. Because Facebook and Twitter, one, you have to read. That could be very
Ain't no got time
preventative.
for
Hey.
Yeah, right.
Nerds.
I am
For
literally
most
literate.
people, I'm thinking. And other, you have character limits. I don't know why TikTok is on there. I have.
You know that the big
Maybe
big
I've
people on
avoided
TikTok, right?
politics.
The
It's just
big
like
people
stupid
on
dancing
TikTok.
videos.
They're the
TikTok's
people who
got a lot
they
of-
just create Nazis. That's all it does.
Oh yeah,
some
the
of the
Chinese
TikTok,
communist.
TikTok's had a lot.
The communist app creates Nazis, guys.
Mhm.
I mean, seeing some of the fucking degeneracy on that app, I can.
Fucking beautiful.
Also, can I just say the dancing nurses 0 out of 10. Their form is utterly terrible, and they should get more lessons.
My bad.
Dances. I don't watch the
Terrible.
fucking
Many
dances. I
such
just-
cases.
They're like
Mhm.
art clips of people doing stuff. That's what I like.
You're such milk.
So
TikTok.
I'm quite sure. Yeah,
Look.
TikTok is not a news source. I'm quite sure about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. If
It's like
you're
saying,
getting
it's
your
like saying
political
I get
opinions on
I get my politics from Instagram. You're like, oh Jesus
TikTok-
Christ.
Oh Jesus!
I get my politics from Discord.
Oh no! That's almost like the other end of terrible.
I get
Hey,
my politics
hey.
from Civilization
The-
6.
Ah, yeah, Gandhi. Gandhi will rule the world.
I'm actually playing Civilization 6. That was just the first thing that came to mind.
I'll tell you
I'll
something now.
I feel about Gandhi the same way I feel about the Ice Age baby.
What?
You know, I just wanna fucking yeet him.
Oh, thank
just
God you
fucking-
cut out. Thank God you didn't cut out their doll face, because I was worried that he cut out. I just want to fuck him. What?
Oh Jesus!
Leftover mediast, even though the rules that existed
We're
for
just
the
gonna
older
kill
forms
him.
don't apply here.
Horrifying.
On top of that, as social media-based news began competing for our eyeballs, those in charge leaned on a time-honored and unflattering truth about humanity. Fear and outrage attracts our attention far more than calm analysis. Then social media companies, not beholden to the same rules as previous news sources, encouraged far more fear and outrage-based content to generate
fuck
more
off.
clicks and revenue.
Are they like actively shutting down links? I think Facebook limits certain links to websites that they deem to what's the word? Wrong in their eyes.
Curatorial.
Wrong
Well,
thing.
it was. I think it was like an unintentional thing at first that they kind of let happen, and then people were shouting about one side of the negative links of one side, and then they're like, "Oh, well, yeah, we gotta fix it," but they won't do their side, and in the end, it really is just about the money. Oh, well, actually, no. These days, everyone wants fucking
He
active.
does know that like the fear mongering applies to like both political sides, right? But I want to bet
Yeah.
he's only ever going to go to like,
Can I,
it's the Nazis are the only ones that are fear mongering about
Can I just ask one thing?
Hmm.
Smud, you were around before social media. I'm only saying this because I know everyone here is quite young.
You're an
But
old
you're
person.
old.
Yeah, I'm not that old. Okay, I am that old. But sensational headlines, did they only exist when social media started?
Well, gee, before I was born, there were all kinds of wonderful newspapers. Those things with paper and ink, those wonderful things you
I'm pretty
buy.
sure newspapers also fear mongered.
Yeah.
Stuff I used to put down for my
yeah,
cat.
that's what I mean. I'm sure on like CNN and Fox News in the 90s and 80s, there were sensational fear-mongering headlines.
It
that
really
were
depends
utterly crap,
whether you're
and were
coming
just
from
there.
the
I
mentality.
mean, to this day, journalism also has fear mongering headlines in terms of Trump is going to
Y2K.
Trump is
Y2K.
causing concentration camps or blah 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 blah. So, you telling me that's not fear
just remember,
mongering?
this is the same channel that's the suddenly you're a Nazi. This is the same guy complaining about fear mongering.
Yeah.
Well, people are fear mongering. He's literally fear mongering about fear mongering.
I
Yeah,
think they're using the
Yo,
mentality
dog.
of what news
You need
reporting
likes,
used
so I
to
fear
be
mongered. You're fear
back in the
mongering.
day.
Hold on, Hold on. Smud, what was that?
So you're thinking about newspapers or news reporters on TV like Walter Cronkite, who's considered the most, not the nicest guy, but like the most trusted guy, however that came across. And they're trying to equate that standard to like, oh, this is what you go to journalism school for, or take a course in that.
No.
When there's all kinds of hacks that come out of there, and I've met a few.
Yeah.
So you can take a course in something. That doesn't mean you have the same ethical standards as what your parents might have had or your grandparents might have had 60, 70 years ago. So it's strange to equate that to what we have today when television was the thing that killed the newspaper, even though the newspaper is still around. So now we have all these other things on our phones and our TVs and our radios, and these are just supplemental, but they're so big that they become the story. So you have all these ridiculous links. And this was even on Tumblr, because Tumblr was the not the backbone, but the sharing ground for Twitter, because they were the same amount of space. You can post a twit or a tweet, and that would be the same. Whatever you call 140 characters would equate directly to Tumblr.
A twit post.
Tumblr.
Yeah.
Tumblr, you have a nigh infinite character limit.
Right, but there's another one. There was another. Was it Mini Tumblr? I can't remember what it was called, but it was very similar to.
Oh, people have wrote fucking essays on Tumblrs. I don't even know if there exists a limit.
So there were ways of sharing things.
Maybe. All I need is 6.
Cross platforms, and that became the thing. And even today, we look at the fact checkers. They're horrible. They get some basic things in science right because they have actual scientists to refer to. But when it comes to actual things of like I always talk about election fraud because that's the hot topic nowadays. There are so many things they're getting wrong, and all they keep pointing to is all the attacks or all the attempts at getting some sort of case going gets shot down on all these technicalities. And you're like, why is that happening? And there are individual problems with those cases. That's true, but when you have mountains and mountains of affidavits of people swearing on oath, doing interviews.
By the way, that's affidavits are quite. If you lie on one of those, you're looking at 15 years.
You are putting your life on
in prison.
Depending,
lying in court in general is really fucking risky.
But an affidavit is worse than that because you are lying on a whole other level.
Yeah, and think about, so it's one thing to lie to hide something, because people would probably have a stronger incentive to try to hide something from someone than try to force people to lie that something is happening that's not actually happening. I don't think people could offer enough to other people to lie in an affidavit to prove something rather than to hide it. So the concept comes down to bias and who has it, what is it, which bias do they have, and what are they actually saying? Because I can go on any website, and I don't care if it's like the Mary Sue or Breitbart or MSN or whatever, and I could read between the lines and say, okay, what's the actual data they're imparting to me? Where does that come from? How are they getting it? How are they verifying that? And more often than not, it's always misconstrued. And we could see the same on either aisle on any YouTube channel, why it's being touted as such. Like I remember the alternative news on YouTube for right-wing politics never says the coronavirus. They always say the Chinese Communism Party, the CCP virus. So it's like, why are they using that term? Because that's where it originated. It's like, okay, but are you trying to say there's some conspiracy about China inventing the thing? And why else would you say it? Call it that thing. So there's all these biases. Well, they said, the Spanish flu. We call it Spanish flu.
Which
started like so Chinese flu. Like, so what if they call it the communist virus? Who fucking cares? That's not like a fact thing, right? That's like
Well, a lot of times you just can't.
That's not like actually the term is COVID. Like,
well, okay. So the thing about COVID vaccine is you get blacklisted pretty quickly. Like a lot, even just like simple Reddit text to speech things, they don't say COVID.
What happened recently in the UK on BBC Radio 5? Someone was talking about COVID with children, and it was like, yeah, we need to do another lockdown, we need to do all this, all that. And bear in mind, this is on BBC Radio, which is an old form, not social media. So they supposedly buy extra credits.
Government sanctioned
Workers
too at
out.
BBC.
Yeah, they should be following all the
Not
rules.
technically government sanctioned, but
Yeah,
Close enough.
for sake of simplicity.
Yeah, close enough. Yeah, but it turned out the person who was on was actively lying through their teeth, and her employer had to come out and say, no, she's lied. She's now going through disciplinary action.
Huh.
But the BBC reported it as truth, and there's a big hoo-ha now between, I think, the Royal Hospital College or something, and the BBC, because the BBC refuses to A, get rid of the interview, and B, admit a mistake. So explain
Who gives
how
them the
the
fucking
original-
audacity? My God, everything I hear about the BBC is just shit. I don't even know why it still
yeah,
exists.
it's because
Well, because no one can really
Bottom
touch
line.
it because its
Put a
funding
lot of
doesn't
money
really
into
go
a
through
lot
the
of
government.
people's-
It would
Yeah.
be a big, complicated thing to actually get rid of it. But
It
personally,
doesn't come through the government, but it's
I would-
government enforced to pay for it if you have a TV.
yes. There have been ideas on removing it, but it hasn't been like nothing has been done about it yet. I actually
Damn,
think a
what-
better way for it to go would to go to a subscription service. So
Yeah, that'd
put
be
everything, or like make BBC iPlayer international. So you put it in every country, like Netflix, and then you make a subscription service, and almost automatically you have boosted the English, also the British creative industry by making it worldwide funded, similar to Netflix, so it can be on a much higher level with much higher funding, and it's an
Mhm.
optional subscription. You don't have to pay the fucking TV license, and it's nothing but benefits. But they'll
Yeah.
never do that because they're too fucking scared.
Tonight
Yeah,
on
they
Bottom
think-
Gear,
they think-
I destroy the BBC. James orders the annihilation of the state of Bulgaria.
Oh, those bottom gear mean pure class. But yeah, so I'm just saying, don't. Yeah, social
It
media
was
hasn't
Kung
changed.
Flu Flag.
Social media hasn't changed how journalists work and how journalistic companies work. It's just they've just moved on to a different platform and they're doing exactly the same thing they've always done. It's just the fact that they get caught out a bit more on social media, so it looks worse. But hey ho.
All right, let's keep going.
There's also an element of almost like nostalgia, because we always have an inherent bias to look at the older times in a better perspective than we have before. Like to say, oh, well, things were better in the olden days, ignoring all the old problems. Like people say, oh, the 80s were better. It's like,
the
the 80s actually had a lot of problems. What the fuck are you on about? And then...
But they had some
See-
sick cyber. I don't know. Never
what?
mind. No, never mind. Forget it.
But anyway, yeah, it happens with films. Or films used to be better, or this used to be better, or just anything in general used to be better. But in actuality,
films
things are just
definitely were
always
better,
shit.
though.
Get used to it. No, because it's looking it through like a very biased lens, ignoring the bad and forgetting the bad.
No.
Yeah, that's it. Rose-tinted lenses.
Films were definitely better.
No, because you still had a shit amount of films. The thing is, but no one remembers the shit films because they've passed off into irrelevancy and probably have dumped themselves off any kind of platform so that they're now unavailable. But the thing is, so now all those movies from the 80s have sifted down, and we only ever see the good ones on
No,
this things
I
anymore.
get that idea.
And then when it
I
goes
still-
to
I still
new
think
new
that
media,
movies were
we still
better.
get good films that come out. The only other thing is now that we just notice a lot more of the shit ones.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
while you still get progressive politics and shit, and franchises are falling, there's still media which is being created, which is still good media.
All
Well,
right.
face you. No, this is a battle. You have to concede. You're Irish.
No.
Just concede. I'll give you
No.
a potato.
No,
One whole potato. Come on.
no,
Now you want it. Two.
no,
Final offer.
no,
And a Guinness. Final offer.
no.
Okay. 2 potatoes and 2 Guinnesses.
No.
All right. Let's just keep going.
You're not Irish.
Joe Crazy. EC guy, just trusting what Big Brother says. His idea of what journalism was is not the purest, kindest form that we expected. It's never been that way. You would wish it were, but it's not. So, Joe Crazy again. As if previous news sources are any different from what these media sites do. Yes, you could easily see the bias, and I think there's a big chart that someone made of the biases of each of the major broadcasters, who's funding them, and what they say, what the majority of their news sources are, how they title their headlines. It's pretty obvious where they lie on the political spectrum, especially in American politics. It's so divisive, and it's again, I say it's a observer sport for Canadians or anyone, really the world, to watch what the devil Americans are doing this week or this hour.
It's like football.
American football.
Yeah, Americans would call it soccer, but football is obviously much better.
How shameful it's just turned into a spectator sport of how obnoxious either side can be. Like, was it like this in the 2000 to 2010?
No.
I think it's become more of a spectator sport, but I think politics have always just been shit because you go back, it's like, people hate each other. Oh yeah, it's very it's more divisive. Oh, it's the same amount of devices.
Maybe it's
like almost every American election I have lived through, I've always heard, "Oh, well, this is the closest we've ever been to civil war." It's like, really? Okay. And then the next election, we're the closest we've ever been to civil war. Oh, the next election, we're the closest we've ever been to civil war. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Fucking do it already, bitches.
Do it.
Do it, you fucking cowards.
Yeah. It also probably is just social media now. The rest of the world gets to see just how intricately insane we are. And so it's more entertaining. Because usually you just get the big swaths of the boring politicians. But now you get the screechers.
I'm sure people had fun watching the UK elections, how insane everything was going. Not last December, December 2019. It's just, with social media, you get to see each country's election, and they always look insane to outsiders. Yeah.
I mean, they look insane to insiders. Like, I wouldn't call American...
burn down half our cities.
Mm-hmm. The American election season is hysteria. The whole fucking year is just hysteria.
Have you seen what the House of Parliament are? It's just a lot of people yelling at each other.
At least that's cathartic. Unless you don't think it's at all productive.
I mean,
not really.
Yeah, it's definitely not a thing in
America.
America.
The boxing ring in the middle,
You could right?
Yeah.
Whoever wins this battle of strength and
that's how we fix social media. That's how we fix social media. Get rid of it.
Let's get on with it.
Okay.
Surrounded by all this negative news, we did what humans often do when presented with hostile viewpoints. Surround ourselves with like-minded people, creating bubbles based not only around hobbies or physical location, but also by our chosen brand of fear and outrage.
You would know a lot about that, wouldn't you, Extra Credits? Surrounding yourself with like-minded people in a bubble where you don't listen to anyone else. And then you call anyone outside that bubble Nazi.
Oh wait, don't you like how one of them's like a sideburn man and then the other one's a chick where she has like those long strands and random places and the rest of her hair is shaved?
She looks like she got bubblegum stuck in her hair and had to...
Basically.
The art style of Extra Credits is usually just throwing in random, bizarre-looking people, like often diverse-looking people. So you'll get like
they also
a black guy, and he's got like really outrageous-looking white hair that looks really stupid.
They're just using the bean, which is like a base shape for figurative drawing, and then that's just what they went with, and then they just gave the fuck up on everything else.
You know, social media provided a very easy space to facilitate that as well. Now our truth is defined by the people and news sources that make up our bubble's echo chamber and not outside analysis of information.
What?
Oh man,
self-awareness level 0.
You do realize that when you go on Twitter,
you don't think the journalists are in the echo chamber? Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, it's just different kinds of journal. Like, if you're talking about Twitter, exactly, it's people who share articles, or on Facebook, it's people who share articles to journalists, journalists. So it's journalists within a bubble being shared with like-minded bubbles. That's all it is. So it's still journalists inside those bubbles, which are just biased as the bubbles themselves.
Yeah. Self-awareness level 0 for this fucking video, by the way.
Feels safe. Well, it's probably because modern social media bubbles deflect outside viewpoints in a way our pre-social media bubbles just couldn't. In our current bubble world, new ideas
What
aren't
do you
given
mean?
a fair...
In what fucking way?
Oh my god, is he gonna start going down the route of the
He's
Nazis
implying
got
that you
bubbles?
can't change the channel to a different television news source if you
Yeah, like
what
what
news
like
source
all
is saying?
news on television was one like consistent, unbiased viewpoint,
Mhm.
and there was no like right wing news and left wing news. It was all just one like a non-biased journalist looking in from the outside.
Well, no.
Well, I just have one thing to say to this: bias never changes. There you go.
The issue here, no, if he's saying there is this bubble that we're a part of, and he's accepting that there isn't one, why are you being so biased? Why don't you say, you know what, even though there is a bubble and I can see it, I get my news sources from everywhere I can find it. That's where I get to the truth. Because you can't just say, oh, we have bubbles. We can't pop them. We don't, like, he's actually saying these are bubbles. And you're like, well, good. You've identified a problem. That's a bad thing.
He's presupposing that journalists are outside
Bubbles.
Yeah, right. Well, maybe
Fucking
they're
love
actually
bubbles.
presenting solutions. Maybe he's just setting up all the negatives first, and then the latter half, he actually brings in his gamification fixes.
I'm sure we'll hear communism mentioned at some point.
Bubble theory.
As a perfect.
Bubble.
If we
Way
listen to
solve it
bubble
all.
theory,
I just want bubble gum. God damn, I'm just hungry.
you're hungry and you want
news
bubble
heard
gum.
from
A thing
inside
that
our
you don't
bubble.
actually consume.
Look, okay, I have a weird bubblegum addiction that I
Shani.
won't go into.
Bubbles
Shani,
are believed,
she's
and
a
that
woman,
presents a
don't worry about
ripe target for tech-savvy bad actors who want to influence a group's thoughts. And this happens way more often than most people realize. Here's an example of one common approach. Meet
I'm trying to think of on a different thing for his EP on his extra penis. No, that's need something better.
EP?
I don't even know what the EP is supposed to stand for.
Extra.
Oh, extra
politics.
that's
Extra
it.
politics?
Extra penis. No.
No, that's too good for them. They don't have extra penis.
Egotistical prick.
Execute Order 66. Yeah, that's it. That's correct.
Message coming
We'll
in.
let you think on it, Shiny.
example
I'm
of
gonna
one
think
common
of it.
approach. Meet Tam. There he is, happy in his bubble, created over a couple years
Tam.
on Facegram. Then out of the blue, a new person named RageDuster2000 sends Tam a friend request. Huh, okay. Well, Tam doesn't know RageDuster2000, but
Okay, so who actually accepts friend requests from people they don't know on like Facebook or Instagram?
Also, that's not. Who's called fucking Tam?
Right. Oh my god, cat! God damn it!
they seem
He's eating all of my important
Oh,
documents.
he's got 1,000. He's got 1,200 followers. I'd follow this fucker if he followed me. Yeah.
Did you get food?
Actually,
to post good
Did you get some food?
no.
It's either tell your boyfriend to get some fucking food.
Food for the cat. That's why he's eating my paper. Anyway. I'll go in a sec after this.
with interesting headlines. Oh, and they have 1,200 followers, so they're probably trustworthy. And look, RageDuster2000 is also friends with the real Cyber Zoe, who's been the go-to cat meme person in Tam's bubble for a while. Since they know each other, Tam accepts RageDuster2000's request and then proceeds to check out a news story they just posted. Tam then shares the story and is rewarded with internet love in the form of his own likes and reshares.
Does anyone really follow people just based on, like, oh, they know, I guess I know someone who knows someone? Like, just because Devil follows someone doesn't mean I go follow whoever the hell he's following. I don't care.
If I know like 20 people that know the person, it's like
Yeah.
at that point it's like, okay, yeah, maybe.
It's like, oh, Voice, I guess, generally knows this other person over here. Why should I care?
Yeah. I usually just, if someone follows me on Twitter, after a bit, if they seem normal, I'll follow them back.
And that doesn't stop people from having their own opinions or ideas. That just, someone said something on Twitter, it must be true. Oh my god.
Yeah. I usually tend to keep my following to people who...
someone said Trump is killing kids with a shotgun. I'm like, oh my god, I believe it. 100%.
Teleports behind them, nothing personnel, kid.
No, Trump just teleports behind the kid with a shotgun and goes, wrong.
Here is Nathan Brake. Facebook banned me for a post I made a year ago retroactively. Facebook only allows the things it approves of. Wow.
Relatable.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow.
Yeah. Like I said that other time, if I had a pound for every time I've been banned on Facebook, I would literally have several pounds.
If I had a pound for every time,
literally a few.
I fucking open
a message coming in.
If I had a pound for every time I was banned from a platform, I would have no pounds. I've never been banned.
Nope.
Nope.
So many fucking times.
No matter how many times I say niggle, I can never get banned.
I remember I had a bunch of... I think the closest I've ever got is Tumblr, because they didn't technically ban me, but I remember during that weird age, every single photo I had got put, on...
Oh, was it restricted because it was all vaguely pornea?
It was a fucking rabbit!
Oh my god, it's so funny what they considered not safe for work when they were doing the purge.
Yeah, so there's old artwork, so there's some old drawings of Ahsoka that I did that are perfectly non-sexual. There's drawings of rabbits and all this stuff.
Yeah, sure, okay then.
Sure, buddy.
So,
do you want me to pull up the photos?
Huge
I'll fucking prove it.
Yeah, pull up the photos. That's fine.
If you show us, I don't think we believe you even then.
I think we're fine, Shiny. That's okay.
Oh my god!
How
many penises are inside her?
Oh Jesus!
But anyway, generally, it was just a lot of things, and it's got most insane when it was just a rabbit, just a drawing or photo of a rabbit. It's like, this is inappropriate. What?
Yeah.
It's a bunny.
I got a 12-hour ban on Twitter one for saying communists don't like fox. Still, I don't know why. That was the weirdest thing. I've heard a lot worse. It's very weird. But hey ho.
What Tam didn't know is that Rage Duster 2000 and the real Cyber Zoe accounts are actually run by the same person, along with 1,200 other accounts to brute force likes and shares.
Oh my god, every friend I've surrounded myself with is secretly the one person.
Imagine, but doesn't that say more about you than it does about the other person? Because everyone you're following is a bot.
How's this not seen as some paranoid delusion? Like this is almost.
There's no way. There's no way someone's running 12,000 fucking accounts.
Well, I mean, bot accounts if they set it up, but it's hard to make sophisticated bots to push your own agenda.
Yeah.
I mean, astroturfing's a real thing, but I mean, it's a team of people, usually funded by someone.
Are we going to get into fucking Russian bots?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at this.
Oh,
Let's see. Okay.
Jesus fucking wept.
Okay, if he mentions Russia once in this, when I go to the store, I'll buy whatever alcohol and fucking slam it.
2021, and we're still on Russian bots.
Jesus.
Think about that.
It's not even in the fucking office anymore. But you gotta keep the narrative.
Having 1,200 accounts is roughly the same as having one. Thanks, technology. Also unknown to Tam, the person running these accounts happens to be a foreign national who also runs the website that writes and hosts all of the stories.
What is this mask?
Foreign national.
With a flag that's suspiciously like Russia. A suspicious amount of Russians. Oh my god, he really is going for Russian bots. Oh my god. October 2020, we're still on about Russian bots. But I bet you £1,000 that after the election, there's no such thing as Russian bots.
Is that Dr. Doom? What is he trying to get at here?
Russian. Is that a Dr. Doom or the Gladiator mask?
I don't know why, but it's giving me vague Saigon of a card and Doom.
Yes. Yeah, it's like
Looks-
it's
Yeah,
like a
right.
love child. Yeah, it's like a love
Maybe
child.
that's what it is supposed to be. I
But-
bet it is
But
more supposed to be
think of the
Sargon.
narrative
But
he's trying to tell us. It's like, yeah, you might or you might be a friend with on Twitter with some guy who's not really a guy. He's actually a whole network of the same person.
I do. Yeah.
Oh
well, that's why
wow!
you shouldn't
So,
accept
apparently-
random Facebook asks or
How
friend
horrible.
requests.
I think
At least
it
on
is Dr.
Facebook.
Doom.
So, okay, all of our friends on social media, they're all Sargon of Akkad and Doomcock. Doomcock and Sargon of Akkad are
Yeah,
actually
it is
the same
Dr.
person.
Doom,
We
'cause
never
it's
knew it.
Richard's causes Infinity War.
Well, you
which
never
is
seen them in the same room together
character.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that it would be.
because they'd actually have to leave their
England.
house.
And it's the country that Doctor Doom is in
What's
charge of.
Doctor Doom's country again?
What?
Something with L, I think.
Yeah.
Isn't it the
Lithuania?
actual one? The actual one from the Avengers movie. They just stole it, as in like what's what begins with S?
Here's
Wakanda
Bo.
forever.
Here's
Message
Bo
coming
giving us
in.
the answer. Doctor Doom
Patch it
when the
through.
Latveria
I think
flag.
yeah,
you
they did.
normies.
Latveria.
No, I don't think it was in Infinity War. It was in
No, in Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron, that's it, yeah.
What was the country called that made the Accords for Civil War?
That seems like a real intense
Sokovia.
speed.
Sokovia.
Oh, it wasn't Sokovia Accord.
Sokovia. Yes, so I think that's the country that Doctor Doom runs.
No, it's Latveria.
No, it's Latveria.
I think
Latveria is the one that Doctor Doom runs.
Oh,
His
is it?
accounts.
Oh,
By
okay.
abusing exploits in how we
Okay. Thank you, Bogue, for that answer. Here's 2Tim505. Watch George Lucas in the background of some random documentary. I don't know.
Yeah. Seen
Message
that,
coming
yeah,
in.
It's interesting. He just randomly
patching it
walks behind this
Yeah,
person and
it's
scurries
his
into a
Latveria.
hotel.
It's
Oh,
Latveria that
Latveria.
Doctor Doom runs.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Nathan Brake,
Message coming
thanks
in.
again.
Patching it through.
Most secure election ever. No fraud whatsoever. Don't question it. But 2016, oh, hell yeah. Fraud all the way through. Russia stole the election. Oh, no.
But anyway,
Yes.
Doctor Doom is all our friends on social media.
Yeah.
yeah.
You can be my
Evil.
friend any day.
When the tier 4 finishes in the UK, I'm going around for tea. That's how
Is
good friends
that
we are.
what was? Oh my god, that's funny. Yeah, that's just Tumblr shiny. He showed the picture of what got tagged as not safe for work. It's legitimately just a floppy bunny.
Message coming in. Patching it through.
And
I'll put
here's a
some
cool
batteries
name.
in
Here's
it.
Mr. Tickle Truck. What a cool name. Thank you, sir. There's 1 billion people on Facebook alone. There's no need for bots to be in a bubble. Some knitting communities are political bubbles for F's sake. Yeah, it has nothing to do with
Yes,
the platform.
True. That is
though.
true.
This is up to you to say, hey, I want to find out the truth. And you don't, because you don't care. You don't want to listen to the other side to find out where the facts come from or the validity of the data. You just want to get this, or in general, the people just want to get whatever their side thinks is good. They get the little
Yeah.
endorphin hit. They go, ooh, yeah, those stupid other guys, yeah. And go on with their day. They don't want to listen.
On my Facebook,
Message coming in.
people find it weird that
Patching it
I
through.
have friends in America and outside our town. People like I know have made a bubble of it's only this town that matters. So they only get their news and sources from whatever's in my town. So
So
when
they're
I tell them about
globally
it-
ignorant.
yeah, no, they get the stuff from BBC, but it just
Oh,
literally like they
so
go, like,
ignorant.
Why are you friends with someone? Why are you friends with someone in America? Because I go. on
Why
the
wouldn't I
internet,
be?
so-
This is going to be really random, but
Yeah.
kind of tangential. So, another story about my wonderful college. My college had this really weird thing where, again, every Friday you'd have to sit down and listen to a lecture about, I don't know, rape, racism, blah 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 blah, or whatever.
Oh, is it like a freshman
Black
thing?
History Month? No. It's just every Friday. It's called tutorial, and we had to sit down.
Oh my
And
fucking
we had
God.
to sit through a
Every
lecture.
single fucking
Every
oh my
Friday,
God.
it was like an hour and a half.
Fuck me.
Oh yeah, it's always in the
It's-
common hour, so you don't get to eat lunch because they close down the cafeteria, so you
Anyway,
can't.
this
If you start
remember
eating, it's
one
like, oh, what is that? A
specifically
bigot
is
sandwich?
Hold on,
how can
hold
you
on.
how can you tell if your friends are being radicalized? I am not kidding. It
Oh,
was a whole hour and a half lecture on how to spot if your friends are being radicalized. And one of them is they're hanging out with.
They post a frog, and they call it Popo. Actually, say it's Pepe. Radicalized.
One of them was like they have
what was
friends
it?
in other countries.
Wait, what?
Yep.
Friends in other countries.
Friends in other countries that's suspicious of being not nationalized, radicalized. And then others was you walk in one day with expensive clothes, or like you've got like someone's given you an expensive game all of a sudden. Like apparently one of the tactics they use is to buy stuff for you.
Where can I find these sugar daddies? I mean, radical recruiters. I mean,
my radicalization goodies.
Oh,
where's my radical daddy?
Yeah. Where's my fucking I just got radicalized t-shirt?
Another one was like if they show like very strange beliefs all of a sudden. But it was so strange. It's like if you see anyone being radicalized, make sure to tell the college.
Oh God!
Whoa.
Make sure to report to the Ministry of Truth, guys.
Make sure to report them if they have any sense they could be radicalized.
They caught a whiff of wrong thing. Quick, send them to the Ministry of Truth. We have to re-educate them on what actually.
One of my friends lives in Canada. I doubt he's going to get radicalized. And radicalized.
He's going to be radicalized by the
radically nice.
Oh yeah, by our amazing leader who's never there. We don't even know where he is. Yeah. It's kind of funny because America has an itinerary for the president for every hour. We have an itinerary for a day of a month.
The thing is that they did tell you to like report them, but then really, what is the college actually going to do? Because they can't just throw someone out for having political beliefs.
I mean, they
can find a reason.
Stop that! No, stop that! Hey, don't just ignore us. No, hey, oh, okay, fine.
I remember there's like so many cases that the college has tried to like stop someone or do something, and they're like, no, you can't. Like legally, you can't stop me from doing this thing. So, fuck, we can't.
Stop me from having
one of them was smoking.
A friend in a foreign country.
There's they really hate smokers outside the college, but because it's public area, they can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So they just have to get teachers who stand there looking really weird at them, just on the edge of the college, and they just wait for someone on the campus. No, they wait for someone on campus to start smoking so they can get at them, but they can't do anything to them while they're off campus.
God, that sounds like a waste of time. Just let them smoke outside.
Welcome to UK education.
They don't like it because it's a really bad look for them if there's a bunch of smokers hanging outside the college on the main road as well.
All right. Let's get back here. Joe Crazy.
Guard.
My God. So the election really was subverted by the Latverian bots. Extra Credits guy has finally opened my eyes. I think the people who listen to Extra Credits are already associated with his gaming ideas and videos. So this is like, oh yeah, I know social media. I like social media. Let's talk about that. And they're
already used to his insanity.
If they're here so far after that Nazi video, I think maybe that video was just meant to weed out the reasonable people, so they could
were happy.
Condense down.
They were celebrating the fact that we're glad to get rid of so many Nazis who unsubscribe from our channel.
As I said, they wanted to condense down their audience. I don't know why they're so excited.
Anyway, here's a tissue. I can still see the tear marks on your cheeks.
How we interact with social media. One person can become someone's main source of information, and by proxy, affect the opinions they share with others. Rage Duster 2000 is now free to feed Tam any information, even absolute lies, and he's likely to believe them, because it's everywhere in his feed, so it must be true.
Imagine this, like, 4D chess, like, level thinking. Okay, so I'm going to create an account which has cat memes, and I'm going to work that account every day to keep making cat memes and posting them. And then, alternative to this, I'm going to make an alt-right account where I share my articles, and then they're going to be following each other. It's like, you do realize that just because you follow someone doesn't mean that people cross over. I mean, LitDev follows me. I don't think anyone has jumped over from following LitDev, who follows him tangentially. The only people following me are from my YouTube, who are also from obviously here and Morning Nonsense. But at the same time, that doesn't just transfer people who follow you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the people.
I
the people who
followed
follow
someone.
me,
All followers
Yeah,
just transfer.
yeah.
So this is insane 4D chess he's coming up with.
Yeah, as if they have like some knocked-in brain control over this person that they have it feeding through.
Do you think it's a little bit of like projection that they want to be like this?
I bet it's projection. A lot of this crazy idea bullshit is so obviously projection of what they want to be doing, and they're like, oh wait, maybe they're doing it. But also, I like how it takes the onus off of the person being sent the info, that they're just a victim and then a stupid dummy that has to be told what to think, but from the right source, not the wrong source. You know, they can't.
So
I just realized
this
this image is of the profile picture. I guess it is just a gas mask, but it automatically makes me think of Mauler.
Yeah.
You know what?
I wonder why they've chosen that.
It literally could be anyone because, you know, a gas mask is kind of seen as, oh, it's a cool profile picture, and Mauler obviously isn't the first person to do that. But it's just, you know, fun little
Is it because he
thing I
didn't
noticed.
like Kelly Marie Tran? Because he's besides when they get into, I guess maybe the EFAP, Mahler himself is pretty good about staying away from politics. It's usually his guests that rage on, and I guess maybe
I remember Southpaw told me when we were just chatting that he was really surprised when he started hearing Mauler actually talk about politics, because he started like talking about things which it's just really strange to hear Mauler talk about. It's like, how I could really imagine that, because I couldn't imagine Mauler talking about politics in terms of like, oh, we need more thing in the education and immigrants or something. I don't know. That's not what he said. Southpaw didn't tell me what Mauler believes exactly, but whatever he does believe, he found it surprising to hear it coming from Mauler's mouth.
It probably
I don't know.
doesn't
What does Mauler have?
any
Gas
line.
mask.
Yeah, it probably means that he doesn't toe like a lit dead line or even a far left line. It probably takes it case by case.
Considering he's from Wales, he's probably got a certain type of political view, because Wales does sort of go down a certain way.
He probably wants a social safety net.
It depends on the area of Wales, to be honest.
Yes.
I mean, didn't Wales vote for Brexit as well as England?
Pretty much.
But
Wales is also a high Labour area.
Yeah.
But that might be changing with obviously what's happened in the last year or so.
Labour's burning down. Ha 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 ha.
All right.
But again,
let's keep going.
I'm not going to assume someone else's politics.
And look,
it's not
I
my
not
place.
think it could happen to you, but at some level, it happens to all of us who use social media, myself included. So, now that the problem is laid out, how can we use game design to fix these exploits in our social media system? Well,
what a laughable statement.
Well, for inspiration, I'd like to buy a vowel and then take a spin on the Wheel of Fortune! In this game, players try to be the first to solve a word puzzle. And when a player guesses a letter, all of the players find out if the puzzle has that letter in it or not. Now, obviously, the guessing player would prefer to keep that information a secret from the other players, as it would give them an
invalidates
advantage.
everything
But the
he
game
says. He's
designers
not taking
knew
this
it would be a
seriously.
better and more fair game with more public information.
Look, it's got a
so
cute
let's
cat.
use that idea of more public information to begin to fix our foreign actor and bot farm issues. What if there was a way to limit each person and business to, let's say, 2 social media accounts per platform? And I know in our
Wait a second. So now he's putting limitations on you can only sign up to a website once or twice. So what that would have to do is have some sort of GeoIP or MAC address or some other form of ID that gives you a limitation, which you can easily get past through using a different NIC.
NordVPN!
Or using a VPN or using another computer. You know, it's just anything, any of these solutions will work. So yes, what a great idea, which we can get around instantly.
Smudge, you know, earlier in the video I said that I'm sure he'll start bringing in communist ideas. He's certainly very close to just full government control of social media.
This is oversight from whatever governing body of a country saying, no, we're going to put limitations on how many accounts you can make with a completely third party that has nothing to do with politics. And unless you want to make, I don't know, some sort
definitely
of
won't require the seize the means of production.
Yeah, like maybe there's some E3, not E3, what's that engineering group for the internet? They have like this set of rules or guidelines that, for making standards for the TCP stack. The IE3, something like that. I can't remember their names. But
yes, something like that.
Imagine saying, we're going to put a user privileged mode restriction, so you can't have more than one account. Like that just would not work. The sysadmins of the world would go, yeah, you're funny. That's not how our Linux systems work. That's not how any of our systems work.
I swear to God, he's going to go down full governmental control of social media to weed out misinformation, but along the government's line of what misinformation is.
And this is
the Ministry of Truth.
And this is
he's
basically I'm betting my reputation.
Right, but this is
it's small and not worth much.
What
but
negative reputation you have, you're betting on.
But this is based solely on his weird straw man of a guy who owns 1,000 or whatever fake accounts that all propagate the same posts on Twitter or what have you. It's like, okay, maybe that will stop that one instance of a weirdo who makes all these ghost accounts or whatever. It's like, okay, yeah, that would get rid of that one problem, which isn't even a problem. It's just some guy propagating a content.
And if they're smart enough to set up bot accounts and bot systems, you think they'd be smart enough to get around the IP limit? They would run mini computers on their computer. You could run an entire computer on your computer.
Extra credits. Yeah, I was about to say, if you're smart enough to fool someone like extra credits into believing they're real, but then again, extra credits is fucking retarded, so...
right.
I think the problem here is that, like, I think echo chambers are mostly created by the people like in them. Like, people create their own echo chambers because they seek out what they already agree with.
This is true.
Yeah, I don't think people come in and create someone else's echo chamber and manipulate it like some puppeteer.
Yeah, I mean, look at myself when I try to associate with people that I disagree with or I criticize online. They block me, and I'm like, well, I want to learn. I want to know your information. Why do you think that way? And after I do that, they eventually block me because I criticize them. So that's fine. That's just the platform and the service that it provides. But there's a difference of how that echo chamber is created. It's not my fault. Okay. If you can't take criticism,
it is your fault, Smud. You hurt their feelings.
If you can't listen,
alt-right leftist.
Well, whatever.
The best one I've come up with yet for extra politics is extraordinary pricks.
Egotistical pricks. Come on.
I'm glad that took.
All he had to do was ask.
It took 22 minutes. Good job.
Ask anyone in computer technology. Say, would this be a good idea? Limit the number of accounts you could have on a system. He's like, well, how the hell would you implement that? How would you how could you even enforce that? And they'd be
if you did it by IP address, not only can that go, you can get around with that with VPNs, but also like, what if you have multiple people in a household?
Yeah, that wanted like.
Well, the one thing I did think of was I don't know if you guys remember. Was it Gmail?
I remember
when Gmail first
there was a similar.
You had to get an invite.
What was that?
You had to get an invite to Gmail.
Right?
Or was it
invite to Gmail?
It was one of those email accounts. I couldn't remember if it was like Gmail or MSN or something like that. I think it was home.com. I can't remember what it was. But you could only get one through an invite. And then once it came out, everyone got it. So it was like, what was the point? What was the point of getting an invite if a month later everyone was going to get access to it? So
see, I mean, they could have consulted people who actually understand how technology works, but they got an algorithm to feed. And so
I remember it's a very similar system to the idea that you couldn't have multiple accounts linked to an IP address because there was I think I've talked multiple times about the game Star Wars Galaxies. Now it is down to emulators to continue it. And for some reason, there was one of the emulators didn't let you create more than one account for an IP, and their way of stopping you from doing that as well. If you try to make two accounts, if you have two accounts registered to the IP, everything gets like banned. Essentially, you lose both your accounts.
Why?
Which is a bit of a dick move. And what they put in big red letters, the only way you can have two accounts is if you like ask us first. So like essentially, so you can have multiple people on the same IP address. But
Do they
what's
sell
the fucking
multiple
point?
accounts? Is that what that is?
You don't sell it. It's just that you have to contact them. So all I had to do, because obviously I play Star Wars Galaxies, my dad plays Star Wars Galaxies. We wanted to play on the same server, so
Nerds.
he went, he created his account. I had to go and email the people who ran the server and said, "Hey, I want to play this with my dad. He's currently playing it. Do you mind if I can have a second account?" And they said, "Oh yeah, sure." And then they said, "Okay, your IP's been added to the exception, so you can have 2 accounts on this IP."
This reminds
So,
me
thank you.
of Smurf accounts on various gaming multiplayer games. So you have a pro player who plays on a certain ranked match or whatever, and he creates a Smurf account to either, I don't know, unranked games or just crushes competition for whatever reason he's bored. And there were always petitions to get those Smurf accounts removed, but it's like, well, how do you actually gauge a Smurf account unless you start doing addresses with ARP and reverse ARP to get MAC addresses? So
you did what good old Todd Howard did. Grab a shotgun and a blindfold and just go at it. Ban. That's what they did with Fallout 76. Beautiful.
Fallout 76, a wonderful
It
game.
just
No problems
works.
with it whatsoever. Yeah.
So the point is you can't, and
Yeah,
you
you
just
can't-
have
you
to go
can't do it.
randomly.
No.
all right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Climate, that sounds kind of crazy, but let's keep going with it. Sure, you could get additional accounts, but they would be taxed at a reasonable yearly rate, and more importantly,
Wait.
You'd get taxed for having multiple accounts.
Who's
We
doing
are
the taxes?
We are going
Did you
down the
realise-
socialist
Great.
route. We are
Okay,
going
you-
down
you
the
do
socialist
realise
Only
route.
the rich.
This
Only the
doesn't.
rich can afford to have multiple bot accounts to portray their agenda.
Yeah.
That's so much better.
Okay,
Yeah.
if he used the word charge, meaning you get a fee, as in a company would charge you a fee, then you're just like, okay. But he said taxed. That's specific to the government.
Yeah. Yeah. He's I bet you he's going to start talking about full government intervention at some point.
I'm very confused because I thought he was quite like lefty, but this seems like because like what he's saying is like basically the rich should have more access to have
Again,
more.
No. He's saying
what's
that
the way-
the government should tax you to have more.
Yeah,
it's not
but
about being rich.
you get
It's just
taxed
literally
whether
the
you're
government
rich or poor.
taxing.
So
what
if you're
is-
poor, you can only afford to have like one account.
But
But then
Again,
rich,
the
you
only way
have,
they
like,
can
four.
possibly do this is if they did it based on IP address. And so so for example, I don't know, say if you've got a brother, maybe a sister, and then you've got a
Yeah.
mother and a father who wants a Twitter account, and then
Let's just screw over families even more.
Okay, and also another thing is, what if you live in big accommodations? So my student accommodation has multiple people connected. Like it's all the same Wi-Fi, just extended across the entire building. So what do you do then? Because we've all got the same IP address. You're just going to tax us all because, like, I don't know, there's 20 people in a building or a section of the building. I don't know. I haven't counted the rooms. It's probably a lot more than that. But there's a lot of people in the building, and then you just tax all of them for having
Message
like an
coming in.
account.
Well, Shiny, that's
Patch it through.
a higher level networking scheme to determine IP. I was referring to ARP and reverse ARP, which is the MAC address. So they would target your specific hardware ID
So your motherboard,
of your
basically.
NIC. So that's what they would check. But that's a very low level thing, and I don't know why you'd have to even go that far. Which is, I mean, it can be done, but what's the point? This is like the level that a router communicates with the rest of the network, then communicate up the chain of the network topology of wherever it is.
What also happens if, for instance, you want an account for professional reasons and an account for personal reasons? Say if I don't have a personal Twitter account, but say if I did, say if I had a personal Twitter and my professional Twitter for visual effects or my YouTube channel.
Well,
why am I not allowed 2 separate Twitters?
Well, he said you're allowed 2, but any more. So he said like 2 is the no tax limit, and then above that is taxed.
Here's Todd Howard. Oh god, I want to point out the EC's podium looks like an upside down North Korean flag. Juice credits confirmed. What Juke?
Wouldn't it? Isn't it to the side, not upside down? Because upside down, it's just the exact same flag.
Oh.
So it's 90 degrees. No, I'll shut up.
Anyway, another thing I want to point out is because everyone's on high speed these days for internet, we have DHCP servers, which means we have dynamic IPs every time we reconnect to the network. So you would have to have an actual class, like a class A or class B, to then target, which wouldn't work. You would just be dynamically associated with whatever network ID. So that's why you'd have to use something like ARP to find the hardware address to do it like an IP list, or rather a MAC address list. That would technically work, but then you're putting all this security just to make sure someone does not have a separate access account, when all you need to do is don't hand them out. So you only have one address. You're like, okay, we only have 200 people on the server. They have the exact IDs, and that's that. And if there's any other connection, then you could do other user level privilege access. So like, oh, this person was just connected to one server. Now they're trying to connect in China. How do they get from here to there within seconds? So
here's a question: how do you see social medias for global communication? So is it just supposed to be like a one world government taxing people, or what happens?
Oh yeah, he doesn't even take into account that, does it?
Yeah, what happens with okay, so he does America. Okay, you can only have 2 Twitter profiles in America. Okay, what happens about foreign accounts, which he thinks are so dangerous? They don't follow American rules.
Oh, right, but this would totally be a UN mandate that everyone who's on social media would have to tax their.
Okay, so not all nations, since only 147 out of 277.
Yeah, you'd see everyone rushing to Kazakhstan or whatever who doesn't care about the UN.
Well, I mean like Russia and China.
Right. It's like, thanks UN. Everyone's going to the places you don't want us to go.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like, okay, the UN makes it a mandate. The UN doesn't have any political powers to make a mandate. They're pretty much powerless with everything.
I won't imagine that everyone turn around and say, "No, what the fuck are you on about?
Yeah, it's
go away."
Very much
which
like
is what they do most
the
times.
Paris Accords, or
the
what is those? That Japanese climate change accord. I can't remember. But all these the Kyoto protocols. Yeah, we like that. You don't have to enforce them, but we really recommend you do. And that was 30, 40 years ago or something. Yeah, right.
Well, it's like the Paris Accords, isn't it, on climate change, but barely anyone's listening to.
Exactly.
Right.
This
is just literally
your first account, or your 4th account, or your 600th account, etc. All posts would have additional information such as their country of origin, account number, etc. listed in their profile. Now, of course,
privacy.
What about age? I don't know, your location, your house.
Your credit card number and those 3 silly digits on the back.
Okay, now first off, they already do that.
Put tattoos on their arms.
Yeah, they already do geo-IPing when you create an account on Twitter, and you could choose whether or not to show off your location publicly. That's fine.
Yeah.
But this guy's you would have to
you're
show
forced to show your location.
Yeah, that's the issue. Is the force. I don't want people to know where the fuck in the world I am. I mean, they do because they won't shut up about it, but at least I chose to not shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah.
It's the moment you start forcing someone to do something, which is
message coming in,
really unnecessary, that becomes I really should be that choice. Why are you doing this?
That's the big deal with last year or 2 years ago with the whole changing Google's permissions for websites to track. So you always have, if you have a website, you always have to ask the user, can we create a cookie on your browser that stores data for us to serve you our website properly, even though they're not actually, most websites don't track anything regarding what they're trying to use the cookie for. They already have in place Google tracking codes for stats or analytic data, which everyone has been doing for 20 years. So they just have to do that because of whatever happened in America, I think 2 years ago, with all these Senate hearings to make sure that we have to inform people. Yes, you're on a website. Yes, we're tracking data, and yes, for it to operate, you need to use a cookie, and you have to store it on your device. And we're asking permission to do that. When 5 years ago, we didn't have to go that far because
I like cookies.
most websites
Very
didn't care.
tasty.
Yeah.
Well, I on
What's
Twitter,
your
I
favorite
put
cookie?
Chocolate chip.
my hometown on it.
With
Like
some
a
chocolate
cupcake,
orange.
well,
Chocolate snickerdoodle.
I mean, have you ever tried like a chocolate orange cookie? They're delicious.
Oh, didn't we have? I thought we had a long discussion about
Domino's
chocolate
does
orange.
that.
Chocolate orange, it's
It's-
amazing.
someone
it's
had a
delicious.
problem with it, which I thought was weird.
Well,
But anyway,
it depends on.
I remember Crow had a problem with it, but then Crow's gay if he doesn't like chocolate oranges.
what if he's already gay? Then does he revert back to straight?
I'm pretty sure he's
Yeah.
married.
he's
To a woman.
married, yes. Yes.
I know he is.
He is.
I'm being...
I know.
Yeah, I know he
okay.
is, yeah.
Here's
His,
John.
his wife's lovely.
Here's John
Trolls
Moriarty.
loads of stuff.
You're overlooking authoritarian real ID schemes. That's more of an American concept, I believe, because we don't have that in Canada. But we do have a lot of politicians have been looking at the concept of microchipping and tracking people with because the whole idea of what's happening this year is going to be:
Message
do you
coming in.
have your COVID shot? Which
Patching it
one?
through.
When did you get it? When are you getting your second one? Are you traveling? So there's the idea of a COVID passport. That's going to be the next thing. I don't
Message
think
coming
anyone
in.
No,
wants
that's
that.
conspiracy
Patching it through.
theorist. That's conspiracy theory.
Oh yeah. What was the
Like
Great
you said
Reset?
earlier in the year.
What was that? Was that big speech we heard at the Great Reset about a few months ago? It's like, oh, everyone's
Yeah.
talking about that. That's not cool. Why would you want to do
Yeah.
that? Yeah. So
That thing that I said was going to happen, and then all my friends called me insane, and now they're bitching to me that I got it right.
oh boy.
Social media. It's
Here's
great, isn't it?
Mariner 1712. Funny, when I was a child, we were told to never use any identification. 20 years later, it's the reverse.
Yes.
On your devices, yes, I would say that's the case. In most cases, when you're an adult, they want you to have ID, driver's license, passport, birth certificate, that sort of thing. So any photo ID is generally what you want.
Oh, a birth certificate is no longer classed as ID in the UK.
Oh, really?
Really?
Really? Huh.
Yeah, me and a friend found that out. We're trying to I think he was trying to update his passport because it was out of date, and all he had was a birth certificate because he doesn't drive. So he took his birth certificate down and said, "No, that's not proof of who you are."
I suppose it doesn't need a photo.
Right.
Like, obviously, a birth certificate's not going to have a photo ID.
Yeah, but with it, supposedly on the paperwork, birth certificate was perfectly fine as proof of ID. But when we got there, it was like, no, you need a driving license. Well, I don't have one. Well, then you need a passport. Well,
You
I
need
don't
a
have
passport to renew
I-
your passport.
New passport, yes.
I'm pretty sure there are
This is
other IDs you can use, but it's just the main one is like passport and other one. But I can somewhat understand why I don't know, birth certificate wouldn't be a very good ID because again, it doesn't have any photo of who you are.
Yeah, but it's very difficult to get a birth certificate in the UK to begin with. To use it, so you've got to go through quite a lot of stuff to get one.
All right, here's the super chat from Ultimate Fatty. Thank you, sir. Do you think Extra Credits agrees with China's social credit score? That's that
Yes.
crazy.
I
tracking-
bet they do.
there are.
Oh, I bet they love it.
What you have to understand.
I want to bet that they wouldn't want that system exactly, but whatever system they would want would end up being exactly that system.
You have to
Oh,
understand there are several. I don't mean a few. I mean several billion-dollar companies in China right now who just came out of nowhere because they invented all kinds of AI tracking, and it's machine learning language that does all these algorithms on the fly and adapts very quickly. And there's been like billionaires made almost overnight to use this technology for all kinds of reasons, whether it's military or gaming or whatever. I don't know. So
There's a
these
lot
things
of
occur.
there's a lot of Chinese billionaires for a communist country, isn't there?
Isn't that interesting?
Why, yes, there is.
I'm not saying anything, but you know, it just You know.
How does that work? I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
Of course, that would mean we'd need to both trust and hold up to a high standard the social media companies we engage with, something we kind of should be doing anyway. End of this.
Wait, trusting and holding up to a high standard? I would not trust Facebook with any of my information anymore.
No.
It's just a bit of shame that I already gave that up when I was 12.
Mm-hmm.
Lol. I gave it up when I was 14.
But like the amount of shit practices Facebook has with personal information is absolutely insane.
People actually fill it out. I don't know, they just
Yeah.
see like a form that asks them a question and they don't think about it and they just fill it in like, oh, I know the answer to that. It's this.
Mhm.
And they don't
Oh, yeah,
realize that anyone can see it.
What's painful is private information, but it's more what Facebook does with that information that is the most scummy part. And then the part which kind of pisses me off the most is that today, if you want to have an Oculus account, because since Facebook bought Oculus, they promised they would not touch it, that they were doing nothing but financially supporting it. What fucking happened? They went and they made it so you had to have a Facebook account to get Oculus, and of course they bring out this miraculous that is actually quite brilliant. I won't shit on the Quest 2. It is actually fantastic for the price, but the problem is you're not paying with money. You're paying with selling your personal information and activities to Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because they track. You'd actually be surprised by how much your Oculus headset does track and record,
Mhm.
and then sends to Oculus so they can sell your information.
Yeah, that's creepy.
It is.
It's icky.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
This wouldn't
Okay.
stop all
What
bad
is
actors
actually
and
quite sad
pop-ups,
that
but
I
it
do.
could
I
greatly
still
limit
use
their
my
number
Oculus
and give us
headset.
all a better idea of who we're
Oh, we all
listening
have
to.
our
So implementing something like
devices.
that could help limit the unknown bad actors. But what about the well-known ones who have equally bad reasons to want to mislead us? Well, for that issue, we're going to need to warm
Ones
up our
we declare
D20s
bad.
and take a look at our old pal Dungeons and Dragons for a little inspiration.
Wait a second. Okay, so
Is he
he's saying,
literally?
Message coming in.
okay, so he went
So
from,
he
there's a
got
bunch of bots
from like game shows that you can only have 1 or 2 accounts. I'm not quite sure how, but he got there, and he's taking elements of games to add to the political system.
First, he's creating this entirely ridiculous scheme to control multiple accounts because multiple accounts are somehow bad. I don't know how it makes things bad, but anyone can post anything online on multiple platforms, and you could be the judge of what that content is. Now he's saying, now there's actual people who want to, lie to you or whatever. It's like, okay, then I have another system to fix that. It's like, dude, you are not the be-all, end-all of problem solving online.
Yeah.
This is not how the world works or should work. And you've
Conversation is a bad idea.
like he doesn't understand networking.
Also-
He doesn't understand all these other things in place. He doesn't understand taxation because I don't think I've heard of anyone owning anything online where you're taxed. I've never seen that, so I don't know how that works.
Taxation on Bitcoin.
A brokerage account you'd be taxed on whatever profits you made, but that's about it. Yeah, but not
Not
the
but
thing
that's
itself.
profits because it's not the actual thing on there, but yeah. Also, you may assume someone's lying to you because it doesn't fit into your bubble, but he could be telling the truth, and you're just assuming that. So it's very subjective. What you
I think
class as a
very
lie.
few people. I think very few people are actually just lying for the sake of lying. Like they know that they're telling a lie and they're just lying to mislead. I think people tell you what they think is
Do you
true.
not know about the
and
Labour?
they're
Do you
trying
not
to
know about the
convince you
Labour
what
Party?
they think is true. I think most of it is people just saying what they think is true. That's. I think he
it's
just
up
has
to
this
you
very
to figure it
cartoonish
out.
view.
Yeah.
Like even extra credits here, I don't think he's so far, at least in this video, has
Maliciously
lied
lying.
particularly. I think this is just his retarded opinion.
Yeah, but I swear to God, if he's talking about censorship now, then
I think he's gonna. I think this is where the social credit
About
score is gonna
censorship.
come in.
yeah,
Oh,
it would be
no.
a censorship
Here
thing,
is
yeah.
here is a Mariner 1712. If you don't like our videos, social credit go down, and that was referring to China's social
yes.
credit score. So
Mandatory subscription to extra credit. that's.
I'm just
Great.
so. Carry on.
Point
I've
of
got
it,
nothing else
to
to add.
be exact. In D&D, dungeon masters usually allow players a lot of freedom to create fun details about their character, such as
I want to point out I have never been in a D&D group that was all women.
Well, maybe that's just because you
Same.
hate women and they can smell it. They can smell that you hate women.
They can smell
You can
the anger.
smell
They
it.
just walk into the room and they're just like.
I mean, I bet they
"They're the
exist,
misogynist."
but probably Tumblr based. But even then, I feel like the DM would be a dude. I don't think any chick
Lol.
would actually DM.
Rage Against the Machine. All right. The 1990s have called. They want.
Jesus.
Rage
backstory, appearance, phobias,
sponsored
and
by
the
the
like.
machine.
And during play, these details might even affect the game in a minor way, adding some flavor to the world without breaking the game's flow. But a good dungeon master is unlikely to let a player start with, say, a huge pet dragon that could burninate an entire countryside, as that would most likely ruin the game for everyone else. And
Why
it's that
not?
dynamic of letting little things happen to add spice, but stopping the big ones which disrupt the game that keeps D&D and other tabletop RPGs engaging while limiting abuses. And we can apply this lesson to social media to help curtail fast-moving falsehoods.
Oh my fucking
What if,
God.
when any post reaches, say, 100,000 views, then that post is considered a broadcast and reviewed against the...
wait.
Oh my
What?
fucking god! Fuck
It's so
off!
totalitarian. What the fuck?
Okay, so
Holy
okay,
fucking
let's
shit.
imagine Twitter has a category called broadcast on its tab or whatever you can click on, and all of those are considered posts with over 100,000. All right. Okay, great. It's a popular post, it's a trending post.
I want to point out. So your post is totally fine until over a certain amount of people view it or like it, and then the moment it is like over that amount, it's
Then it
against
has to
the
be-
law.
Fact
Yeah.
check, quote unquote.
Oh
Yeah.
boy, remember that? This is still going on with anyone who ever questions anything about the election. What's the sentence that it puts across the bottom?
Do we fact check thing?
Yeah. Hold on, so 100
election comment is under question or something like that.
See, the thing is, at least on Facebook, I always find that they just have a generic election fact check link that they link to,
Wow,
and it's always
okay.
it's never like if there's a specific claim, it'll just be like, here's a general fact check thing about general stuff about the election, but it's never that specific claim. It's like, this has nothing to do with this specific claim, but they'll link it anyway because this is just the link that they use.
Also,
Can I just
Yeah.
this could
point
not
out,
be
I've had
abused or manipulated in any way.
Yeah.
I'm being facetious.
I'll say
Obviously,
something.
it can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100,000 views. I've had tweets that's had 100,000 views. Why should that be looked at like I'm a journalist? I'm not a journalist.
Say if you share some rabbit photos, or I don't know, you share your video, and your video is
Message coming
about
in.
I don't know,
Patching it through.
someone riding a bike, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden it needs to be FCC peer reviewed.
You make
Yeah.
a fucking meme of fucking Putin riding a mutant bear.
You know,
And it's
there
fact
was
checked. It's like, that didn't actually happen.
Yeah, fact
It's not
check.
real.
It didn't actually happen. It's not
That
real.
didn't actually happen.
Yeah,
You didn't actually do that.
so I don't know. You Photoshop some tweet that someone said. Again, this has actually happened to guide this. So it's UN women tweets out, "This is women's place," and it's like,
yeah, Shining.
and then it's women's place is leadership, women's place is this, women's place is that. I just cut out the image and just said, "Hey, internet, have this." And then people start just sending in women's place, and then it's just a woman in a kitchen, woman's place, and all of these things. And then
Yeah.
so that would be that joke, that meme that isn't supposed to be taken seriously by in any respect. That
But when
would
you get the
suddenly be
FCC
like FCC peer review. Actually, this is harmful. Women's place is actually in leadership roles.
Stereotypes.
Why?
And then what if it was
Stupid.
factually untrue on the left? Oh, it would be incredibly biased, and they don't do anything about it.
It was true in spirit.
Also, it was true in Two Spirit. Also, the fact checkers. Who controls the fact checkers in this?
Who checks the
well,
fact
Watches the
checkers?
Watchmen.
Which is,
Catlins.
yeah, because it's like you've got to make sure that they're not in a bubble to check stuff. But I'm sure he hasn't thought about that because
Didn't YouTube like try a system similar? But the problem is that no one was checking the videos, and
Yeah,
it
it
just
was-
ended up with a bunch of people falsely reporting videos on their like, what was it, YouTube team? Oh, the more videos that you support, the higher rank you'll get.
Yeah,
that was a fucking terrible idea. And I'm glad it's
had
gone.
one taken down by someone who was on YouTube.
I thought they took her out YouTube teams because it was fucking stupid.
I think it's like, I don't think it has as much power now, but we've had one taken out by a group of people who were on YouTube team, and we're copyrighting everyone who played Jackbox TV.
Oh yeah,
How do you copyright Jackbox TV? It's literally a streamer game made for streamers.
yeah.
We don't know.
Some random.
It was either an Italian or Mexican group of people.
You just call them out on their bullshit of striking your channel.
We did. Yeah, we did.
I mean, Bear got it.
Anyway, that's if it's copyright, then that's not YouTube teams. YouTube teams is more like, oh, you're breaking YouTube's terms of service.
Well, I don't know. You have to ask Bears, but the group of people who had done it were on YouTube teams because we looked them up.
Oh really? Oh, so they're like their little gazpacho group, you know.
Gestapo. Gazpacho is a soup.
The soup group.
Soup people.
Delicious.
Oh yeah, they're cold
a
soup.
group of cold soup took our video down.
Fucking cold,
Cold
soup,
soup.
coming over our
Cold
borders.
soup in a trench
No soup
coat.
for you. It must be cold.
They came and take all that.
Your name will also go on the menu.
Oh boy.
Oh no, sorry, it wasn't YouTube Teams, it was YouTube Heroes. That was the system.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it had to be something like condescending, like you tell for children to make them feel good. You're the YouTube heroes.
Yeah. Does this mean my daddy comes back from buying cigarettes? No, he's gone. Don't worry about it.
Oh dear. Here's Nathan Brake. I played in a group of all guys where we all played as anime girls. Does that count as an all girl group? Yeah.
Yes.
I don't see why not.
No, you're all
I
femboys.
I've played in a group of girls before. It's interesting, especially if you have two women, because they tend to hate each other. That could just be my group, so.
All right.
I think that's just
Create FCC guidelines. These guidelines would cover things like hate speech, threats, sponsorship disclosure,
Hate
fact-checking, and the
speech.
like. And if
So
you're
hold
a
on.
tiny fraction of
Hold on. Hate speech. Okay, so now you've got to
Oh my god.
define what hate speech is. And then you've got to define
Hate speech
what
has
threats
never
are.
been used to define anything, which just
At all. Yeah.
like because you made a dog do a Hitler salute. That's hate speech. Wait, what?
Yeah.
It was just a dog doing a Hitler salute as a
So-
joke. Oh no, it's hate speech.
So to do all this, you've now got to control the meaning of words on top of social media, but not just control
Because
the meaning of
Spatio
words
are
in
gonna come
America.
after you.
You've got to control the meaning of the words worldwide in every country, or else cold soup will jump you and beat you.
You'll be drowned by the Gazpacho.
Yeah.
We're never
This
gonna
is-
let you
this
go
is-
for that now because that was hilarious, Cheddar.
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry.
The Gazpacho are gonna come for
The
you.
redcoats are coming.
I tried.
At least you knew it began with the same letter.
Yeah, so I've been farther away several other times, so you gotta give me some credit.
Yeah, beforehand she thought it was the minestrone that used to come around and knock on your door.
The minestrone are after me, okay? Don't joke about that.
But yeah, so this whole thing is literally getting down to controlling the meaning of words, then taxing people, and then getting it done on a worldwide scale
Yeah,
under a singular governmental issue. Yeah, this is a lot of effort to solve a guy who might have quite a few accounts.
yeah. Oh, jeez.
Fucking god.
Not to mention how this is going to fucking fix anything in the first place. Like, it's going to fix any kind of political issues America's having.
Yeah, like, no offense, but do you think, okay, if China's not running it, do you think China's going to pay any attention to any of the rules? No. They're going to go, fuck you.
They don't do shit. They agree to things,
Yeah.
and then, like, no one holds them accountable for anything.
We're not going to build any more coal-powered power stations. Build 200 more, because in the small print it said in cities, so they just burnt down villages and said it was in the countryside.
So, hey,
It's like-
China, stop polluting. Okay, did you say pollute more? Oh, let me create a few holes in the ozone layer right above us. There you go.
Yeah. This is ridiculous.
And no one fucking... What's hilarious is the moment you ever call China out on anything, all of a sudden you're racist.
Yeah.
No, we're criticizing the Chinese government for shit everything. What do you want to go at first? Their horrible environmental practices, even if you don't believe in global warming, they're still
humanitarian.
Humanitarian. Fucking.
Well, it's hard
how
to
much
be.
they've killed like many populations because they've dammed off rivers, and then they created themselves and they starved to death because they were fishing.
But they're on the Human Rights Council, so that means
fishing
that
villages.
They have concentration camps.
Yeah,
They
like to re-educate Muslims.
non-exaggerated
Yeah.
have concentration camps,
Or
and
they have
they'll-
concentration camps because
Their
Asians
entire
really like
purpose
math.
is to
They've got-
re-educate Muslims.
They've
Seriously.
got concentration camps that they
And they're
paid
like-
Disney to ignore to film Mulan next.
Oh yeah.
They even
definitely.
thank the concentration camps in the
In the
health
movie,
information.
the fucking balls on that. They're like 90% of the reason there's that trash island in the ocean.
Yeah, but
Like,
this is-
they
this is-
bitch
this is
about,
what I
oh,
mean.
You can't use paper towels, that's too much waste. You know, oh, don't use straws
No.
and sea turtles while they're dumping everything
Foolish,
into the ocean.
foolish Westerner. We use paper towels. We laugh at you. Ha 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 ha.
Gandhi would have known how to
Go
deal with this
over
problem.
like how much pollution I don't know Europe
Yeah.
and America create combined. Even put Russia on top of that, and then that is insurmountable compared to how much China on its own creates.
Yeah.
And, I
in
think
any
particularly like
sense of the word
plastic waste.
The biggest-
as well.
The biggest
It's like
one outside of
six
that is
rivers in
India,
India.
and
think.
India's only half of what China produces, and it's like it's insane.
Yeah.
Again, it's insane that
but-
the moment you do anything to criticize China, it's just, oh, you're racist. Oh, it's like, we're not talking about Asian people. We're not talking about China, the people. We're talking about China, the government, the country.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we can't talk about Germany in World War II because that might
Mhm.
offend German people. It's like, oh, they're literally creating
No, but they're white,
concentration
they're
camps. They're doing all this shit. They're invading Poland. It's like, oh no,
Yeah.
but you can't say that because that might mean that people are really racist against German people. It's- oh,
Don't
fuck
mention Thailand.
Let's
Oh,
go.
this is ridiculous. This is a
Fraction
this
of
is
users,
ridiculous.
more than 100K followers. Congratulations. You're now a broadcaster. Your posts will now be reviewed before publication.
There are accounts which again do
my
nothing but
fucking
post
God.
bunnies, and bunnies are now broadcasters if they have over a certain amount of followers.
Just think of the manpower. They're immediately going to make a bot review this, and then immediately the bot is going to get out of control, or just there's no accountability to
YouTube
it.
algorithm is already out of control as it is.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
like the
Well,
way
yeah.
algorithms are made, no one really fully understands it.
You end up needing algorithms because there's just too much content out there on the internet that it would be impossible to have a company people review. So you end up having to have the algorithms. But
Yeah.
the algorithms are
Well, I
never
think-
going to be infallible, and they're going to make
Also,
so many
imagine-
But I think
fucking dumb
even if
decisions.
you could, I think you shouldn't on principle. I think it's
But
a bad idea.
imagine having people having to fact check that fucking tweet. A dog has never done a backflip. That is such a waste of time.
Yeah,
Actually,
This is
and then we flagged as hate speech against dogs by saying the dog can't do backflips.
racist against
technically
dogs.
speaking, a dog can actually do a backflip because
This is
shut
just
the fuck
racist
up.
anti-dog rhetoric.
This is anti-dogging. Oh, fucking.
And of course, it would be the fucking blue-haired person
Yeah.
who would be in charge
Yeah.
of the censorship. Of course, he got that bit
Because
right.
people live. If policies aren't followed, fines are issued. Now this would be
Fines?
manageable.
Fines? Fuck you.
Fines?
You post a meme, that is then end up considered hate speech, or it's not factually correct, and it's just a joke. All of a sudden, you are being fined. Does he not see the issue with this?
All right, so in order for a fine to
I want
take
to cash in
place,
my bet.
okay, in order for a fine to take place, there has to be an actual. Well, there's a number of things that have to happen depending on who you're giving the money to.
A legal precedent.
So, yeah, if you're talking about the government causing a fine, that would have to be some sort of federal jurisdiction. So they would have to have a federally owned website, social media platform, either somehow controlled by the public.
A worldwide one, not just a federal one. A worldwide one.
Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know.
Global communism.
So it's either
This is for social media. It has to be worldwide.
Right.
So it's not just the state of Texas
so
gets
it's
it. Or
either
something. It's like no, this is every nation.
So it's either some sort of weird governing body
down content for whatever reason.
So there would be
and I would probably disagree with it still. To remove content based on X, Y, and Z, but. Again, depending on the context, I suppose. But to then issue fines, again, you post a joke, a meme, and then it gets shared around a little bit too much, and the moment it does, all of a sudden you get fined.
So
could you imagine if this is what causes World War III, like where one country is like, "Hang on, you won't ban Mauler. You won't ban Mauler off Twitter. We're gonna go to war with you until you ban it."
Oh my god!
Just go to, like, the British government and
Papua New Guinea versus Wales.
So again, I was trying to say that you either have to have some sort of governing body that's in control of this website that would then answer to the citizen of that country, and then that would be a slip paid or given to that unit or person. It's have any authority because no one in their right mind could ever do that through a private entity unless there was some sort of waiver you had to sign beforehand you signed up, and that would have some sort of merchant account that would have to link to your credit card or PayPal or whatever the hell the scheme is for that to even work. Because if you were to say, hey, you owe me money, random internet group,
message coming in,
person, whatever, it's like, or I can just disconnect my account and say goodbye to you. So that's why you have Amazon, who has was it $20, $25, $30 a month? They already have access to your account. So if you're, you stop using your account for 6 months, they're going to charge you for 6 months. They don't care. So that
thank you so much, Matthias, for the meme. It's amazing.
Yeah, the meme is amazing. That was great.
All right, Joe Crazy. Disney refuses to film in a state that doesn't allow an abortion. Also, Disney, cool with filming in a country that has concentration camps.
Really? Dang, I haven't heard that, but it doesn't surprise me.
Message
was it Game of Thrones that refused to film in Northern Ireland or something?
I think in the last season.
For what reason was that? Because I thought it was mainland island.
Possibly abortion.
No, I thought it was main island that didn't allow abortions, not Northern Ireland.
No, Northern Ireland didn't allow abortion, and people in Northern Ireland had to go over to England to get abortions.
Yeah,
until very recently, and I think they only legalized gay marriage. Can't remember when they actually legalized it. It was pretty recently though.
Pretty based as a country.
Pretty based.
Based in read pill.
Message coming in.
Pretty based in read.
Patching it through.
Here is Joe Crazy. Me, JoJo stands are real, and then you get a fine.
Yeah.
It's
You
not
can
just
say,
JoJo,
you can
it's
say
anything.
you can say anything on social media. It gets seen by a lot of people, and you'd get fined
Yeah.
because it doesn't fit a narrative.
Your Honor, my client couldn't possibly have known what the other users would have spelled out when he simply tweeted a single letter N. He couldn't possibly have known.
Here's Mr. Tickle Trunk again. Hello. If you want to get intersectionalists to listen, call China what it is, a literal fascist state with camps. Don't even bring up the communism. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but yeah, but China's a fascist state. It's not communist. You don't get the whole thing is set up to be fascist. They just use communists to keep the left-wing soy boys.
Just use the
in
magic
America
word
happy.
fascism.
I think
They don't
when
even
it was
need to
under
say
Mao,
communist to keep the
I think-
soy boys on their side. Just the fact that it's
They
a
just-
majority Asian
That
country.
they're not
got on
white,
their side.
yeah. That's all
Yeah.
it is.
But hey, hell.
Again,
We need a more
you say
Mexico.
anything against China, you're suddenly racist.
Yeah.
Hey,
what I don't get as
China
well-
is
You can only
literally,
criticize white
rounding up
people.
black people. They're using the coronavirus to round up black people out of their city. Oh, no, you're not. I'm racist for talking about.
Do you remember?
Fuck me, then.
Do you remember when the left wing were having a go at the Hong Kong protest, saying protesting is wrong and it's bad and it shouldn't be done earlier last year, and then literally spent ages rioting.
Wait, were they really shitting on the Hong Kong
yes.
protest? 'Cause I thought
Yes,
they were.
No, they were
Oh.
shitting on them because the Hong Kong protesters were flying Union Jacks and American flags.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
they
yeah,
don't
yeah.
get on me, yeah.
Yeah, once that happened, left wing went right against it.
I thought it was
Yep.
very interesting.
You know,
There were
Labour,
really
the Labour Party it soon changed its tune with the protests and everything. So
yeah, but they're still isn't the Labour Party kind of still vaguely pro-Palestine compared to
vaguely, it's fully pro-Palestine.
you're right.
There's
I
constant
don't-
accusations of Labour being anti-Semitic.
God, I
It's
fucking
Which is-
no, that's true. It's been found to be true in numerous courts.
The funny
It's
part
not,
is
it's not
that even
vaguely, it's true.
that the whole Palestine conflict means that they can't really pick a side because otherwise they do end up just being called almost being eating themselves at this point because it's like, oh well, I can't take either side because no matter what I pick, I'm either Islamophobic or I'm
Well, it's the same
fucking
thing. It's the
anti-Semitic.
same thing if you're far right because it's either you don't want to be seen to be supporting Jews because that's bad.
Oh, Jesus.
You also don't want to be seen to be siding with brown people, so you're kind of screwed either way.
Right.
But
Well,
just,
boys,
as
I gotta
Sides
go
admit
get
that
food
Jews
for my
aren't white
cat.
people, so you
just as
know, I
long
think
as,
they.
just as long as your tweet doesn't get 100,000 views, you can say what the hell you like.
Yeah,
Right.
it's fine. So anyway, the Jews.
Oh, Jesus. And on that note, I gotta go get
99,000.
food for my cat. I will see you all in gazpacho
Redacted.
for my cat.
Yeah. See you later,
See you sooner.
Right.
All right, here's Ultimate Fatty. Hey again. How would this take into account the fact that kids and teens can have hundreds of thousands of followers online?
What if a fucking someone
he's-
who's underage and 12 years old with a Twitter account all of a sudden makes a
Yeah.
tweet that goes viral?
Oh,
Do you suddenly
that
just
kid that does
find
toy
the
reviews?
parents?
Yeah.
Hey,
What
mommy,
about Greta?
it's
What about
telling me
Greta
that
Thunberg?
it's telling me that
Well,
we're
she's
being
18
fined
now.
$200,000.
I know she's 18 now, but like she wasn't 3 years
Yeah.
ago when she started up. But it's like, shall we fact check or what she says, or it's
Somehow.
this is just so. I'm still getting on the fact that social media just to fix social media. You have to do it worldwide, and it's impossible to do it. So don't.
There isn't even much of a point to try and fix it Because
Yeah,
there
'cause
isn't
people
really a
find
solution
ways
at
around
all.
it. People will find ways around it.
Any solution which not only will they find ways around it, but not any solution you come up with is going to fuck the internet up in some way, shape, or form. Because
Yeah.
one of the great things about the internet is that it's free. Is that you have freedom to express yourself and to communicate, and that's one of the greatest things about it. And then the moment you start taking that away, it stops becoming the great thing that the internet is.
Yeah.
And that was one of the problems behind, what was it, Article 13 in the European Union?
Yep.
Something which passed, but I haven't heard anything about in a while since we're no longer part of the EU. We don't care.
Yeah, I don't care anymore about it. But it passed, but then no nation's gone through with it because they actually read it after it passed, and they're like, "Oh no, this is too much effort."
God, how did anyone think that'd be a fucking good idea?
They never think it's a good idea. They just sign it because they get told to sign it.
Like there was so much against this. Everyone was against Article 13. They had so many people fly in to give lectures and shit. How much this would be a terrible idea.
They'd already decided before the lectures began.
Big people in Silicon Valley, not people like Sargon or people, I don't know, just people who are internet famous. No, people who are big in Silicon Valley started coming. No, don't do this. This is a horrific idea. Stop.
Yeah, but
all right, let's keep on going.
Bit of Dungeon Master-like editorial responsibility onto very profitable platforms, but they could handle it. Are there First Amendment issues? Probably not, as we've regulated broadcasters for decades. Will the
what?
Are there freedom of speech issues? Probably not. Probably not.
Probably not. Okay, then yes. Then yes. If your answer is probably not, it means yes. Then doesn't it?
Not like no. Just probably not.
Well, from the argument of the world, not everyone has the same constitution. I mean, it's.
I guess we don't have the First Amendment when we have global communists.
Yeah. This is just.
Oh no.
This is literally like a 5-year-old learn. You taught a 5-year-old politics, and then it just starts running around the house screaming politic, and then whatever comes afterwards, and you go, that's a good idea. We should implement that in our system. It's like, what? No, this is insane.
Oh no. This is like yeah, it's like that kid, the video of that kid who's like, oh, here's why we need communism.
Oh god.
Yeah, this is. We've been regulating stuff for years. Yeah, but not on this scale with this much stuff. And
you see it as journalism. This is like people talking to square.
This is people in like social interaction you are actively trying to police. Because obviously there's the social media is social. It's not about journalism, though people have used it for journalism and stuff. It's always been about social interaction. That's why it's called social media. And if you are trying to limit and restrict things can do while they're socializing, then yes, you're probably going to be restricting people's freedom of speech.
Yeah. You know that thing that leftists hold so high, freedom of speech. You do seem to want to curtail it and stamp it out. Quite a lot,
they only hold it high when it's
convenient.
When it's gay shit and fucking
gay shit.
Gay shit.
You know.
You know something. If I never heard your accent and just like saw what you thought, I go, yeah, he's from Ireland. Fucking hell.
Yeah, I guess.
This is
a little based.
But this is when you say, "Hey, does it break freedom of speech?" You probably want a better answer than probably not. Like
it's either yes or no. It's yes or no. There is no in between. There's no middle ground.
Oh no, but that's hate speech. That's fine.
Could you research this? Maybe bring up some evidence. Maybe back this up with some fact that you found, or I don't know, bring up definition. I fucking
I think the
just
problem
anything.
is,
Well,
it's
not that.
like, oh, it's free
If
speech,
I-
except, it's like free speech, except.
If you shoot me, will it kill me? Probably not. No, it's yes or no, like with free speech. If you mess with it, will it? It's yes or no. Like I said, there's no middle ground with it. It's yes or no. Probably not means yes. But it's
Well, probably not's more like, I don't know, but I don't think so, but possibly. I
It's
don't
like
know.
saying-
probably not. Probably not.
Okay,
is, I don't know, but I don't care.
Will you survive falling out of a plane? Probably not. I mean, there's a possibility.
Yeah.
You will live.
Possibility
How-
you could survive.
How high up is the plane?
Hey, if I give a criminal a gun and I say, "Hey, I've got money in my wallet," what will they do? Will they shoot me? Probably not.
Probably
Yeah, but Shiny, have 100,000 people seen it? So we've got to decide. Depends on how many people see it. Is whether
This would be
You'll live or not.
disastrous if his system ever came into effect. This would be worse than Article 13.
if his system came into effect, it would literally be a worldwide communist government, a
Yeah,
totalitarian.
at least with
state.
Article 13,
It
that
would-
was only affecting the European Union, and it was affecting not like for people for what they were saying, but more like trying to tax links to websites and trying to at least have a veneer of trying to protect people's copyright, just throwing free use out the window.
Yeah.
So at least it didn't affect. I mean, it would have fucked everything up. Really would have to live in like the European Union.
This is
This is insane.
This is more than terms and conditions or standards of like you can't swear or say things on YouTube or this or that. This is, did you say something false? It's like, well, if I just start randomly typing, then technically yes, I will say something false. Mostly anything I'll say is an exaggeration anyway, because that's kind of the point sometimes on Twitter. So you'll see.
If
I say that your mum's gay on someone on Twitter and I said, actually, that's factually false and I can prove it, all of a sudden you're in for a fine.
And all you get back is a video of like this person's mum fucking a bloke. You're like, oh god, no, I didn't need that. This is a totalitarian state he's wanting, and that's it.
Okay, let's keep going then.
Communications Decency Act need to be modified with language specific to social media. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And would
Oh boy, Decency
what's
Act.
what's
Can't
a CDA?
swear, can't talk about certain topics.
Decency.
Does that just apply to like America? Because it's not. You don't just have to change the rules in America. You have to change the rules everywhere for social media. Twitter isn't America. Facebook isn't just America. You utter retard.
Hey, a lot of people in South Korea happen to use Twitter and Facebook. Oh, look, a lot of people in South Africa also just happen to use Twitter and Facebook.
Do you imagine
Facebook.
the number
Yeah.
of pronouns? Like you have to put pronouns on your profile now. You have to.
And I would put beep bop boop on my profile.
Yeah.
You can only speak to that person
it hasn't been
with the right
implemented,
pronouns.
Yeah.
What, me putting beep bop boop in there, or having to put your pronouns
No,
in
no,
the
like
bio?
like mandatory pronouns in the bio.
Yeah.
I
Couldn't
can see
give
them
a
doing that.
toss.
I put my pronouns as clone.
Godlike.
Your Lord and Savior. You must refer
Yeah.
to me as your Lord and Savior.
Savior.
Celebrity
Well,
Jesus Christ Superstar on Ice.
Star.
The musical.
Yeah.
2.
we have to work at having
Scene
governments
one.
in place that we believed would be fair enough to enact all of these rules? 100%. And will be changed.
100%.
We've got to make sure we have governments put into place. Let me guess. Let me have a
Let's
wonder
just have
which
this
government
fucking unicorn
you would
government.
like.
Me.
Let's wonder what government you think would be perfect for this.
Totally unbiased government that
yes,
agrees
government.
with everything I say to a T.
Geez, so Monumist.
Bargain bin
Bim,
gay
Bimumist?
communist.
Bimumist? Communist. Oh, yeah, that's probably the government
The
you want.
People's Communist Party of America.
See, America. But it's not even
got
that.
quite a good ring to it, doesn't
Party, the People's Communist Party of the world.
People.
Or China for short.
Yay.
This is nightmarish.
You know, I'm starting to wonder if, like, I don't know, China just invades, like, Japan or, like, just invades any country and people are like, just don't be racist.
Nah, it'll be fine.
Don't be racist, guys. You know, you could hurt the feelings of some Chinese people.
There's literally carpet bombing Tokyo.
See, the thing I don't get
Message
about
coming in.
Like, they end up
it's
nuking
racist
some
too.
other country and it's like, I don't want to hurt
But I
anyone's
thought
feelings,
by-
guys.
like, are the Chinese oppressed? Are like how are white people oppressing them? Like, what is the
I don't-
narrative there? Because at
It's
least
because
with
they're
black
minorities,
people,
that's
it's-
why.
you can see what the
Yeah,
story
there's only-
is.
They're minorities,
They're
that means they're
There's
oppressed.
only-
That-
But they're
There's
literally
a billion of them.
anyway, like literally, globally they're not
There's
a
only a
minority.
billion
In
of
their
them.
own country, they're not a minority. Like they're
They're not a
if anything,
minority in
they're
their own
literally
in the
majority.
world. There's a billion of them. There's only
Yeah,
6
exactly.
billion other people.
So and
And a
it's not
billion
like
of those
we're
are
in
Indian.
control of their country. It's not like white people are in control of their country, like forcing them to
Message
do
coming
things
in.
or whatever. So
That's just
they are in par. They are the group in par.
Well, they're talking
So
about
how
like,
the fuck
okay,
is the whole? How the fuck's the whole
to
privilege
word
plus
for word,
prejudice thing?
what was happening was I remember back when the coronavirus started to spread, like the news organizations started making these wide claims that because the coronavirus started in China, people were starting to distance themselves from obviously Asian people. And then
Don't go to
China.
Chinatown. What was it? People not going to Chinatown and people not going to Chinese restaurants. It's like,
It's like not
Oh.
only does that not affect anyone, but it's like, oh, you're being racist.
Oh.
Oh, it's just America and
Oh my
English.
God.
They're just
oh,
racist
what was
against
it?
these
And
Chinese
then-
people.
yeah, and they had
what was it that
in,
Nancy
fucking-
Pelosi said in February? Go to Chinese New Year.
Yeah.
it'll be fine.
And there was the thing in Italy where they had like a thing
Hug a
about
Chinese
hugging
person.
Chinese people.
Hug a
That
Chinese
went really well.
person.
Went really well for
And
Italy.
it spread the
I was
virus.
I actually remember like, but in like January, and I was one of the people and like in like my workplace or whatever who was saying this is going to come out of China and it's going to affect like all of us. And this was before it looked like it was going to get out of China. Before people were saying like basically, oh, it's going to stay in China, it's going to be fine. And I was like, I don't know, I think it's going to get out of China. And like people were calling me like a conspiracy theorist at that point. And it's just so funny.
Oh,
that
I remember.
it started off as the left people kind of being like, "Oh, how dare you be afraid of this?
How dare you, fearmonger?
Yes.
How dare you be afraid of this? No. In fact, you must go in and fucking have a Chinese person cough in your mouth, bigot."
Yeah, because I was
up
I remember
until,
again.
until the
I
first
was
lockdown.
I was in
labels
college
against
and I
lockdowns.
was just sitting down doing my work, and then I actually said, "Hey, do you hear what's happening in China?" It's like, "Oh yeah, that's really fucked up because of the whole coronavirus thing." And it's like, "Oh, do you hear how much they tried to keep it under wraps and they basically made a bigger problem for themselves?" Like, yeah. And then we started talking about how like it could possibly make it over here because I remember one of the first cases in the UK was in York. I believe it was a York University student who came from China, and of course it was fucking
so what
York
you're saying is
University.
so what you're saying is your fault, Shiny.
But what ended up happening was, like some bitch just kind of walked up behind us, like, "I heard you talk about stop fear mongering about the coronavirus." Like, excuse me, we're having our own private conversation here. It's like, but you're being xenophobic and fear mongering. Just because a Chinese person brought it to the UK doesn't mean we need to be fearful of Chinese people. I'm not. I just brought up that someone had it nearby, and from that it's going to spread. Where did that equate to me talking about staying away from Chinese people?
The best
Bitch,
thing about
fuck
that
off.
is the best thing about that is all the people who talked about hugging people earlier last year and not to be frightened are now screaming to the high heavens that we should never have human interaction ever again. It's funny how things changed, isn't it?
Seriously, I knew the coronavirus was going to become a big problem. I just never thought it was going to be like this extent. I thought it was going to be like, okay, some cities are going to be locked down until we get rid of it. No, it's the entire fucking country.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they're going to bring out. We're going into tier 4.5 soon, Shani. Have you heard about that?
Wow.
That's where you have to raise and
like
slaughter your
Half-Life
own
3.
cattle.
We're never going to go back to tier 3. Apparently,
You have to start raising crops and
never.
making your own milk and.
Well, they're saying we need to shut down. We need to shut down more things. And one of the responses is like what? And they went like workplaces. And the response is we've already done that. Oh, you mean like schools? Schools are already closed. Oh,
schools and works reopen. I know my dad works at a school, and he's currently still going back there. But they're
going to. I think they want to close. But no, this was over like the Christmas thing. While the schools were closed, they're talking about closing them in January for longer, and everyone's like, "But they're already closed, and it's not doing anything." I'm like, yeah, but we've got to close more things. And you're like, okay, fine. What else? What else do you want to close? The only thing open right now is fucking Lidl.
the incompetence on display of the British government so far is just staggering.
Oh, it's staggering, but it's not just like when I say British government, I mean it's all 650 MPs from both sides. They're all incompetent.
Mm-hmm.
Does Northern Ireland have a government at the minute? I can't even remember.
Do you? Because
I have no
idea. Because I thought the last ones was it the.
I know Scotland have their own parliament.
The
SNP one. Check out, and I kind of come back occasionally and go, "Do we have a government?"
The SNP want armed guards. The SNP want armed guards on the English border.
What's going on, honestly.
To stop people travelling from England into Scotland.
All right, let's get back on topic, folks. Alex Halo, weebs and otakus might need to take over U.S. politics to protect our rights, like what they are doing in Japan to stop censorship. Well, that's an ongoing thing, and that's been going on.
Well, I think Australia is the more pertinent thing for weebs, I would think, because
because they banned weeb
things.
Imports from Japan.
Yeah.
The only weird thing I found with that is like people try to say, oh, well, that's just what happens when you ban guns. Like, what? How the fuck does this got anything? Banning anime got to do with banning guns?
Because all the weebs would rise up and kill all of the government.
I mean, banning guns is like a completely different issue that's also complex to talk about with lots of socio-political reasons. But then banning anime while it's stupid is literally nothing to do with it.
I can imagine like an Australian airport, the security jumping on a fucking weed and letting a terrorist walk through, going, "He's got anime!" Or sort of a bomb vest strapped on, just walks through, just whistling.
He's just patting him down. He just.
That better not be that.
What the fuck is this?
Oh my god, Sakura Wars.
I don't know, an anime doll stuck down his trousers, and then just all of a sudden he's like, he's got a doll on, get him! And they just start tackling him.
Yeah, but the guy in front of him gets patted down.
He has quite a
a guy
pillow.
holding like several
Why does he have this long pillow in his luggage?
Yeah. Just pats him down, it's like got a bomb vest, goes, better not be any of that anime weeb shit in there. It's like, nope, right, you're free to go through.
Apparently, according to Super Mastermind, Australia banned Mountain Dew, and I was like, I couldn't care less. Mountain Dew.
Like they're looking in the luggage, and then they see a gun, and they're like, "Oh, what is that?" And then they reach past the gun. It's just fucking One Piece. It's like,
it's a. To the reach past, it's a Mountain Dew. You sick bastard! Do you think you could bring this in?
You think you can bring in Mountain Dew? It's illegal to import Kinder eggs to America, which is even more insane.
Oh yeah.
That's due to the toys inside. There's like a.
I know, but
it's children are fucking retarded.
Imagine, but you can't even like a child. It's the design is that a child can't swallow it. They make it so fucking big.
Bro.
But it's the fact that it's
dumb, bro.
It's the fact that it's in the food itself, which is funny.
Shani, you go to university.
Children are really fucking dumb.
Yeah, you go to university, don't you?
Yes.
Shiny. Yeah. You should know by now that there are some fucking stupid people who could choke to death on a Kinder Egg.
Yeah, but those are
Those are
adults,
really
though. A toddler
No, no,
can't
no.
actually swallow the thing.
Yeah, but the
Shall
parts
I just mention the Tide Pod challenge? We had that whole thing. Come on, don't
But
underestimate
anyway, yeah,
stupidity.
If anyone in the chat has
funny.
children,
It's
I don't
the
care how
only
smart
case
children
where
are, they're
America
fucking
has
retarded.
more stricter food guidelines than the UK.
But fixing social media. What else is this idiot?
All right,
got to say?
Joe
Some
Crazy.
ideas for that later episodes, but all that work in Legend.
Just read a next super chat here. Joe Crazy.
Okay.
Does it go against the First Amendment? Probably not. And then proceeds to explain how it affects your free speech. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Legislation would be worth it if it helps us get better news through social media. Now, is
Whatever
100K
better.
followers too low for this?
How about getting news the normal way, like with journalists?
Why just by actual
Or-
journalists doing their
Or
job.
you could try and keep the actual journalists, in check.
If the problem is
That's
bad
what- yeah.
news,
Well,
How about having good arguments, retard?
if the problem
Why-
is bad news, why are you targeting social media? Why not target the news sites and the journalists themselves? What is social media?
Why does
Social
it
media doesn't do
always-
anything. It just sits there.
Why does it always turn into literally someone standing behind you with an AK-47 watching what you type? Why does it always come down to pretty much that as a way to control social media?
Why not have stricter standards
I
for
see
being
you
a
posted a
journalist?
Pepe meme there. Did you know that we made Pepe memes illegal? That's a fine.
Like why don't they have
Yeah.
better? What? Let's have this guy say, "I want a worldwide law on every government that makes journalism a legally binding thing. If you want to be a journalist and say something, you got to get all your facts."
No.
Perfect.
You legally say you say anything online, and you're legally bound for it to be top down, totally factually correct. Even if you, I don't know. Let's say, for instance, you see information about X, Y, and Z, and then you talk about it on Twitter, and it gets popular. And then later down the line, new information comes out. For instance, if you said a bomb attack in I don't know, Argentina did not have any nuclear things added to it, like there's no radiation detected, and then later down the line there's news that the bombing in Argentina did have radiation in it, which is suggesting it was nuclear. All of a sudden you're factually incorrect, and now you're liable to have your whole
Think of the
fucking-
children.
Right,
you'd
but
be
Yeah,
fined.
so-
but the thing
yeah.
is, you're
You're fine.
targeting.
You've got the
Because
super
the-
patrol knocking on your door.
Because the facts do end up being, new information comes out which
Yeah.
changes our perception of what is the truth.
But let's.
And the only way you can go through this is by your perception of what you believe to be true.
But let's
So-
You've got
let's
to
put the
also-
attention.
You've got to have a worldwide organization to enforce this. Who's going to run this organization?
But let's put the attention.
Again, there are the countries that can't agree on trade agreements. How are you supposed to get
Yeah.
countries to agree on this shit?
This is the same
Yeah.
thing with having standards in any sort of agency. So you have like music or building or whatever you're doing. You could have a global journalist school or concession where everyone gets together and says, okay, we're only going to teach journalism this way. You have to get certified. There's levels of certification to be a journalist, what languages you speak, what you can cover, that sort of thing. If this guy really wants the truth, then why is he targeting people? People aren't journalists. They're just repeating what they're being told. Target journalist schools.
How is what I put on social media meant to be put to the same standard as a professional journalist? No, that's not how it works.
Yeah, just go after the schools that are doing a bad job and making really bad students that are graduating and then becoming journalists and doing a bad job. That's the root of the problem, not social media.
People, yeah. Also, just I think there's not even a worldwide thing for like age restrictions on movies and video games.
Yeah,
Like,
every country has a different
It has a
standard
different
on
thing, yeah. So even with something as simple as that, the countries can't agree on on stuff. They can't agree on a worldwide
Right.
singular
Countries
thing.
can't agree on fucking age of consent, as there are some countries that I think it's fucking 14. Some
Japan.
countries view it as 16. Other countries
Yeah.
view it as 18. Some even view it as far as 21.
Arkansas views it as
Well, it's any age
9
as
and a
long
half.
as you can get married in some countries.
Like what you could do, this is an easy one, have a disclaimer listing all the sources, where you got them, who are they, what your relationship are with these sources. And
But then you can't
Still,
really
that's a
do
lot
that in a
of stuff.
tweet.
No,
You've got to have like
I
a
don't-
lot
I
of
don't-
links in a
I don't-
tweet, and then all of a sudden you've
No.
got no characters to write the
we're
original.
not talking about Twitter. We're talking about journalists. Because there's
Oh.
the idea of
Yeah.
trying to police social media is asinine.
But, like social media and journalism are very separate things, though. And he's
Yeah, that's
talking
the
about
thing, though,
policing
yeah.
social media.
Yeah, which is
and
insane.
You're talking about journalism.
There are, remember,
He's talking about everything.
Remember how-
everything, every social media.
right? But remember
that
how?
is to the same standard of journalism.
But remember how Steven Crowder got demonetized and then remonetized? There were no standards for why he got demonetized. Like there was no warning as to why that happened.
Yeah.
He had to hire a lawyer, and now he has a lawyer on his show just because of
Yeah,
this.
was it Half Asian Bill?
just to facilitate these legal problems that he never had to deal with because there was no need to hire a lawyer, and there was nothing in the actual terms of service that he was breaking to cause this to happen. Now he eventually got remonetized, I think last year or whatever, and that was like a thing. But the
Big
fact
thing,
that they don't have their own standards, they don't enforce their own standards, and they're just listening to popular opinion of mass flagging or all this other nonsense that people do on social media.
They listen to one person. YouTube listened to one person, Carlos Mazza, and that's all they listened to. We didn't pay any attention to anything, and that's what his lawyer got him on. The fact that he didn't break any rules, and they literally just listened to that guy complain.
But they still didn't monetize him for like a year or so, and luckily
but he gets most of his money from Mug Club, anyway,
right. So he was okay because he had his own way of making money. But for the fact that they had to wait, and they brought it back, which is nice because there was no rule. Like I would have known, what the hell would I have done to get demonetized? Like I would like to know that information as well. So when you see a big name get it, all right, good. What did he do so that we can avoid that? And the policy is known to, is public knowledge. Everyone is aware of it, so you don't do that. And it never came out. I never found out what he did. And it was some sort of weird technicality of hate speech, which because he had lots of controversial topics on his videos. He removed videos that YouTube didn't like. So it's like, yeah, fine, whatever. Your platform, your rules, I totally buy it. And that was a good thing because then it tells us, everyone else, what we can't do. And that's fine. We don't care about, you can't talk about Nazis or you can't. It's like, sure, we won't talk about them. We'll go somewhere else and talk about if we really are so inclined. So this idea that, we need some worldwide standards, like, no, every platform should have every freedom that they want to say exactly what they need. But the issue is not the freedom of speech. The issue is journalists saying things and getting the facts wrong.
Journalistic integrity. That's it. Journalistic integrity, which is something you can't control via social media.
I mean, every day there's always some sort of rant on a Twitter. I don't know. Maybe it's from America. I see it in Canada as well because I get Canadian Twitter, and we get these ridiculous tweets like, Trump is a faker, or Trump should be beheaded. He's a sedition. Like all these words about things people hate, which I find funny because I remember all these wonderful speeches from Hollywood. You should only talk about things you love, and why are you professing hate? Stop talking about hate. They're the ones who are actively against all of these people. Yeah, they disagree with hatefully, extremely hatefully.
Yeah, it's like on in Britain because of obviously the Brexit. There's just been massive rants. I mean, I follow a few Remainer accounts just to see what they say, and they are just ranting about Armageddon and everyone's going to die. Everyone's supposed to die January the 1st in Britain because of Brexit.
Take
food lines.
What was that? What was that free internet nonsense when they hired Ajit? I can't remember his name. Ajit Pai for the FCC. Leader. And he was saying, internet, what is it? What's that stupid term? I can't even remember the name.
Net neutrality?
Net neutrality. That
saying?
stupid term, which isn't going to do a damn thing. It's going to hinder businesses from making money. But if only we had net neutrality, our bills would go down, we'd have faster access and all this other nonsense.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a meme.
Yeah.
But they're still talking about it. We want net neutrality. And it's like, guys, nothing happened the past 4 years. Nothing went bad.
Yeah.
You got 5G now. You should be happy. Like, no, we have to have net neutrality.
Well, it's like it was like what was it? With the last general election, Labour said that they'd give the country free Wi-Fi to 95% of the country, and the country went, "We already get Wi-Fi pretty well."
Yeah.
Cheers, thanks.
Which is funny because the same conversation was last month with Elon Musk telling Canadians, "I can get you internet anywhere in Canada." But it's like bloody expensive. It's like, well, why would I want that?
Yeah, but it's like they did a thing, and it turns out that the 95% of the UK has internet connection already, and the 5% that don't, the majority don't want it. So why would we want, to have the exact same amount of internet access, but it just gets taken out of taxpayer money instead of
Right. Should the internet be a service?
you can negotiate.
Yeah.
Not to mention it ruins any kind of competition between companies.
Yeah, and also anything run by the government is usually poorly run.
All right.
So
1 more minute and a half. Let's keep going.
Or too high. I mean, that we can tweak. But the point is to set rules to allow the little communications that make social media joyful and helpful, and put a check on the communications that could possibly cause real harm.
Oh my God. Okay, so this is the same problem that people talk about the First Amendment. We don't have the First Amendment to make people smile and talk about the weather and how happy everyone is. It's quite the opposite. You talk about controversial issues that you don't want to hear. So as soon as you stop tweaking things and start using like the idea of you can't have a downvote, or there's no dislike on Facebook or Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't. They just won't do it for whatever reason, even though people are asking for it. They won't do it. It's negative stuff. You can't say negative things. You can't downvote things.
Yeah, but and to
You
go
will
around that,
literally
people
on
just
Facebook,
ratio with comments.
on Facebook. In a private group, Facebook can flag a group if there are too many angry reacts in a private group.
Yeah.
So the admin of the group on Facebook will get a notification about it and about how they need to monitor the posts, because they'll literally view like the number of angry reacts as some kind of measure of like toxicity or whatever, or hostility.
You see, I actually remember I talked about previously the people on the left like hating Trump or this or that reason and having a hashtag and being emotional. It's like, yeah, you could say these things that are hateful, but be factually accurate. And every single tweet I was reading about whatever day it was always, oh, he did this horrible thing, or someone said this horrible thing. Like, well, is that true? Like, you could say whatever you like, but apparently that's not a problem. So I don't see why you'd want to then limit people's way of saying what they love and hate. That's what you need in YouTube. We need the downvotes to know whether a video is good or bad before I start playing it, to know what to expect. I'll be, all right, let me see what it's got. I don't want to waste 30 minutes until I hear, only go to like, people will tell me like, forget like this hour-long video, go to the 45-minute mark and just watch that, and there's something to have. Like that video we stopped watching the other day, but like, I don't know, it was like 26 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
Apparently the last 2 minutes were the most pretentious bullshit you ever heard in your life. So I was like,
on top of all that?
Yeah, I would have liked to have heard that, because the first 5 minutes were just so bad. You wouldn't want to sit through that crap.
Yeah.
So
No.
I would love sitting through crap.
That guy was allowed to make that video with the freedom of
Yes,
stuff.
he should be allowed to make all the crap in the world, and we should be able to laugh at it, until our patience runs out. So
Yeah. So our patient just snaps.
like, can you imagine policing left-leaning ideology on what is considered right or wrong? Like they get taxed to death. Like, dude, you just said
Yeah,
20,000.
nothing left.
You said blacks should not associate with whites, or vice versa, or like, wait a second, what are you talking about? What ethno-states?
The prisons are overcrowded as it is.
Yeah.
They'd be just bursting to the seams.
As Gandhi was known to say, all authority comes out of the barrel of a gun. Or it might have been someone else, but it sounds like something Gandhi would say.
I remember the Dalai Lama once said, "Eat shit, bitches. I'll post what I like."
You know, even if the system that he's coming up with theoretically works with no complications, like you are somehow managed to get the UN and everyone to agree and all this, and it is executed unbiasedly and everything, and let's say that it theoretically does fix all the political problems, is it really worth it? Like, even if it did theoretically work, the amount of freedom and everything you've had to give up, is that worth the fixing the political system, quotation marks?
Okay, right. So you fix everything in his way. Left-leaning parties never get into power ever again because it turns out that they're lying the most and everything like that. Do you think he'd be happy with the system that he invented and created?
It's like saying, okay, so we can make everyone equal, but at the exact same time, everyone's equally poor, everyone's equally fucked, everyone's equally in jail, or everyone's equally dead. It's like, okay, well, we're working in theory, but you've had to give up a fuck ton to make it work.
Well, this is a tiered system they're creating. So you're going to have this global system that everyone has to follow. Then you're going to have, I guess you can call it the dark net or whatever setup that would involve another platform that does its own thing without all these rules.
Patching it through.
And that will grow and grow, kind of like a bootleg Twitter or whatever you want to call it. I think Parler is the new one. Everyone's going to Parler these days.
Yeah, Parler, yeah. I have a Parler account. Come follow me on Parler.
I've
post
never,
absolutely nothing.
I never got around to it. Yeah. So you're going to have alternate platforms that are going to go, no, we want to say exactly what we want to say, however we want to say it, and that will be the norm. So I don't think a system like this will ever actually take off, and if it does, no one will want to use it.
I think it just seems like he has this
it would
god
never
complex
start.
where he wants to control
It would never
everything
even
from the top down.
Yeah.
Like he just thinks
Almost
that
like
he can
a
perfectly
certain-
control everything.
Almost like a certain government system, I believe he supports.
It's
do
also
well in
like
the
it's
Cold
kind of
War.
like I can't remember which video it was, but where someone was it the one? I can't remember which video it was, but there's a video about like how games should be or something, and it should have all these features and it should have
item systems.
it's like that, but
open
like
world.
for social media.
Open world, open items and open world games.
Yes.
are boring.
Like it's basically
Boy,
that same kind of sort of entitled and like ridiculous idea of how you can get this perfect world and
they both said that Dungeons and Dragons is the perfect world.
Yeah.
Perfect way to solve it.
Because there's someone.
Oh my god.
The world of the imagination. Yes, it's true. It all the ideas originate from the mind. So if only it was like
games would
D&D.
be better if only the world was like D&D. Yeah, okay. Jesus.
It's funny because like if someone says, "Oh, I wish the world was more like D&D," what you think they might mean is like, "Oh, I wish you could do anything you could imagine or whatever. You had all this freedom." What he means is, I wish there was one person who was in control of everything that happened and could at any time stop someone from doing something.
That may or may not be myself, who's in full control of everything. Because there's no way that these people want to live under the rules they make. They want to be the ones.
No. But he sees himself as the dungeon master of like the world, essentially, or like someone very similar to him. Who has his opinions and stuff.
I'm not a player. I'm the dungeon master. You're like,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, sure, buddy.
All right, here is Joe Crazy. Christ, some of these guys were the same ones who criticized the fundamentalist for stamping on free speech. These hypocrites seem to be playing another tune once the shoe was put on the other foot. This is,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's just bias.
the world will be greater if I design it my way. You know, it's just this bigger, better system.
Unfortunately, when it comes to free speech, a lot of people only really care about free speech when it's their speech or their politic speech. When it's someone else's politic speech, they usually don't bat an eye.
Which is ironic because he talked about bubbles, and it's like, dude, you're talking about journalistic values and standards and truth, and then you're mentioning, hey, I'm also in the bubble. It's like, well, there's your problem. Get out of the bubble, try different forms of information, and learn to listen. It's that easy. You don't take one web source or news source. You take multiple sources of the same story, and see the differences. Why? It's not hard on the internet.
What I usually do is I look at what's something that's mainly left wing, and I look at something that's right wing, and I see what's similar between the two articles. Because if something's similar in both of them, then usually that's the most truthful thing. So that's usually how I take things. If there's sprinklings of truth on both sides that match up, that usually helps you get a picture of what's actually happened. But it might not work for other people. But that's how I usually.
I do think there is kind of a danger of almost the bias of the middle ground of like, well, the truth must be something in the middle. When it's like, well, I think the truth can be an extreme. You know.
But what I'm saying is like but what I'm saying is for me it helps make it. Helps me.
I get what you're saying, but I do think like you got to be. If you're going to be really open-minded, you got to be open to the idea that maybe it is.
Yes, no, that's the thing. Yeah,
the truth is one-sided.
Yeah, this is why I call myself a proper centrist. I'm not a fence-sitting centrist. I'm a centrist that will take. Action
the problem with a lot of centrists that I've met, they always try and use like this centrist. It's like, oh, look, I'm unbiased. You're biased for having a source, but but I'm unbiased. I'm the one that you should listen to. And you know what? It's funny. I had a conversation with Rexin Around, and Rexin Around was upset that I made an intro for Geeks and Gamers because he's like, hey, did you know that you made something for this, that, and the other? And I said, yeah. And then he tried using the fact he was a centrist as a defense for saying, look, you're defending or you're supporting hateful content.
Wait, what?
It's like he tried using the fact he was a centrist, but as we talked more, he said that he was, I started to learn that he pretty much was a centrist with more. He's very left leaning, and I'm not. While I don't, I put myself on the political spectrum. I don't really call myself conservative or Labour or left, right, or this and the other. The closest definition, I guess, is a centrist, but I don't call myself a centrist because, again, just labeling yourself, it's really stupid.
I don't mind if people call me.
I know for a fact I have a bias, and my bias is going to be in non-SJW matters. It's going to be more left-leaning. In anti-SJ, in matters SJWs they're messing with, I'm more likely to be leaning towards right-wing. That's just my bias that I acknowledge. So
I think personally, I'm just very right-wing in general.
But my kind of ideas of politics is that I don't really follow anyone. My big problem was that it's very much you establish yourself as
politics is terrible.
I'm left wing or I'm right wing or I'm anti SJW on this, that, and the other. It does, unfortunately. No matter what you do, it leads you.
That's like say the right wing opinion to have.
Yeah.
So I must have that opinion because that's what
it just creates.
It's not a sports. Politics is not a sports team. You shouldn't be just rooting for one side.
And that's
the thing. Yeah, the thing where it comes to me, people say that I'm right leaning. I was like, yeah, that's true, but that's only because the left has really gone off the deep end, where I find myself disagreeing with more things than I agree with. So that gives me the air of being more right wing than it is left wing. But like I say, that's only because a lot of the moderate left are still quite nuts, to be honest, with some of the things they come out with. But if they say something, that makes sense, then yeah, I'll agree with them because it makes sense. But yeah, too many people who call themselves centrists are literally just fence sitters who don't actually want to make a decision about stuff. Being centrist.
Again, I don't view them as fences, but I just view them more being this. Oh, I haven't got bias, but they're really biased.
Yeah.
Again, that's why I don't call myself a centrist.
I call myself because I try and keep down that middle road of let's take the best of both sides.
I remember in SJW tried to say to me, "It's like, oh well, where do you politically affiliate then?" It's like I don't know.
That's a weird way.
Like, well, but you said you're not right wing. It's like, yeah, I'm not right wing. It's like, oh, but you've got all these beliefs. It's like, do those beliefs make me? I don't know. There's many things which I believe which are also more left. It's like name one.
I voted.
It's like, oh, yeah. All right.
I voted for the Tories in the last election.
What fuck you? You're sitting me here having this whole lecture, and I've got to read off every single one of my beliefs to you to say that I'm not right wing.
I mean, yeah. I voted for the Conservatives in the last election, and if anyone actually looks at my Twitter profile about what I feel about the Tories over the last year, you wouldn't think I voted for them. So, but people call me a Tory supporter because I voted for them in my entire life.
I didn't vote in the last election because fucking Northern Ireland politics is I don't even know what's going on, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's a fucking cess.
But that's the thing. It's like partisan politics is a terrible thing, and it needs to get. You should not support a political party like you do a sports team.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it does just become that. It's just this person is it's just a natural thing because when you're surrounded yourself by people that you agree with. Then you're just going to listen to other things. Like say, for instance, you're going to agree what another leftist person says. They're going to say, oh, yeah, I agree with you on these things. And then you create a bubble, and then you don't listen to anyone on the right wing, for instance, or at least you listen to them to a much lesser degree. And then because you're in this bubble, it just ends up leading to this big circle where it just gets more extreme and more extreme and more extreme because you listen to the extreme guys because they agree with you on a lot of areas, but you don't agree with the more right-wing guys because, they don't agree with you. So you end up listening to the extreme more, which just means that the party becomes more extreme, more extreme, more extreme, more extreme, more extreme. And don't get me wrong, this is not just the left, it is definitely the right wing as well. Because that's what's creating the big divide. I would say I don't pick on the right as much because they don't warrant as much. They don't fuck with me. I don't fuck with them.
Yeah, they don't come out with as many crazy things that try.
When Trump comes out with Space Force, I'm gonna laugh at him because it's fucking stupid. It's like, oh, but the purpose of Space Force is that it's gonna be doing all these things. You mean all these things that the United States Air Force was already doing? So in reality, you haven't really done anything other than reallocate stuff from the United States Air Force to the new Space Force.
And plagiarize
nothing's changed then. You literally changed nothing. What was the point? I'm going to laugh at him for that because it is fucking stupid. So I don't pick sides here.
All right.
Well, it's like one thing.
Let's keep going, guys.
Sorry about that.
We've been going on a little too far here. Let's just keep going, please.
Of course, large ideas like this would be incredibly complex to implement across our social media landscape. But we as a society have definitely regulated other types of media before. And even if the idea...
TV's not regulated the
social
same.
media.
That is two different things.
Not the same as journalism. TV is absolutely not the same as journalism.
Also, TV's not regulated the same worldwide.
You want to try,
you want
to try to regulate the internet? Good luck.
The thing is, it's much easier to regulate TV programs or movies because all you need to do is you get someone who sits there and then they say, okay, this is going to be this age rating because it ticks all these boxes. And there is a comparatively small amount of films and TV than there are fucking tweets in the world, and that's not including TikTok, that's not including YouTube, that's not including Facebook. Or did I say Facebook?
Literally
Instagram. That's not including I don't know, Tumblr. There are the amount of tweets like on Twitter alone that you would have to regulate, even ones which are over like I don't know 100,000 likes, is far more than the amount of films you'd have to look at.
Yeah, it's important.
So social media is not
joined together and hand holding as much as they like.
Yeah,
They're not going to solve the social media problem.
Trying to compare independent companies throughout the planet on that designate themselves as social media, which is just a name we give things that involves sharing content, and then comparing that to, I don't know, television or movies is.
Y'all still haven't finished this damn.
What do you think of that? It's only got like a minute.
We're almost done.
But don't worry, Cheddar. He might maybe not affect our free speech. He doesn't really know.
It may or may not
Possibly
actually.
not.
Oh Jesus!
Do you know when I said earlier about betting my reputation that he'll want some sort of communist government? Yeah, I was pretty much correct about that.
Yep, sounds like it. Oh jeez.
Yeah.
Oh
If
no.
the
Fucking
present
cold,
here
fucking
aren't perfect,
cold,
we're going to need some system-wide ideas if we want to fight back against the threats that the misuse of social media presents. And while we'll probably never stop social media bubbles from forming, we should be trying to think of ways to keep them better informed places while preserving all of the things that make social media great.
Wait a second.
But what do you all
someone?
Wait a second.
The video is someone saying how terrible social media bubbles are while they're actively in a social media bubble.
He's saying, don't pop the
Pretty
bubble.
required
He's saying,
here.
we got to make better bubbles.
It's like looking at a mouse, not knowing that it's in a little cage. Like it's completely oblivious.
Like this is so backwards. It's like we want to get out of the bubbles. Like no, we got to make better bubbles so the people in the bubble are better and everyone outside the bubble is not. You're like, what? Why would you even have the bubble in the first place?
We gotta kick the people who are saying hate speech out of the bubble. That's pretty.
Again, the problem with politics these days is that just like what I was talking about before. People listen to people on their own side, even the more extreme beliefs. They don't listen to the other side, and that just ends up becoming more polarized and more polarized and more polarized. That has got nothing to do with social media. Almost literally nothing. That is something you should have with social media or without it. It's just
humans are tribal. By the way, just what I'd say.
Social media is. Like it's a lot easier to instantly find like more and more things like a one click basically. Like, it's a lot harder. It would have been a lot harder before the internet to find article after article after article, in the same way it is now, or even not necessarily even just articles, but like just people that have certain views, and especially in terms of the range of views. Like you're not going to see the range of views that you see in the internet on like TV or newspapers or whatever. There's just certain levels of extreme, quote unquote, that you're just not going to see on those kind of.
Yeah, before the internet, you had to find articles. You had to go to the library and actually.
Yeah, that was frankly a lot of work.
Well, look at doing that these days. Who has a fucking library in their town anymore? They all shut down.
My town still has an open one.
Does it? Oh, ours shut down.
Yeah, mine's
Still
open.
Like, I remember coming across the bill. Actually, no, I don't know if it shut down. I know for a fact the building it used to be in is empty, but maybe it moved.
They've gotten an update.
Because I walk past the building regularly, and it's all like boarded up, and it's no one uses it anymore.
All right, I think the rest is just.
I've got to look it up now.
I think the rest of the video is just him thanking his subs or whatever. Let's just find out because it sounded like music came in.
Are we thinking this large? Do you have any ideas on how you'd like to fix social media?
Oh shit, we still have I didn't even know that. We still have a library. It just moved.
Wow.
Apparently
they got a fancy update.
Like they made the old people's home in the library the same place.
Well,
in the comments
they
below.
like books.
You know, I hear there is a big election coming up. So on election day, we're hosting an all-night extra politics stream over on our Twitch channel.
God.
We'll be reviewing poll numbers, making predictions, and all hanging out
Jeez.
together, cordially discussing politics, and we'd love to have you there for
Cordially.
the conversation.
Is that
Cordially
like-
condescending politics.
How the
to
heck do you cordially discuss politics?
Is that legal?
Oh, that's
Well,
where he gets
what you
into
do
his
is
bubbles,
what you
right?
get people who agree with everything you say politically. And you stick them in a room.
This is going to be like the Young Turks,
Yeah.
like the night in 2016 where they were watching
Oh God, no! God, no! Fine, you can have Kentucky. We don't care.
live on stream. Just the amount of depression in there.
Did you see?
Yeah.
Did you actually see the Young Turks in the last election one? They did exactly the same, and like they quit the election live feed. We didn't even see that Biden had won. They'd quit because they thought Trump had won.
Really? They fucking rage quit until, of course, he stole the election.
Trump was winning
Yeah,
in the beginning.
most of the live streams. Once they said the counting stopped and Trump was ahead, they all stopped and it literally looked like they were going to hang themselves in like despair as it all stopped because they're like, "Damn it, Trump's won! Trump's bloody fucking won!" and all this. And they stopped, and then they came back going, "Yeah, Biden won. We all knew it was
By
going
the
to happen."
way, do you know what's happened with what was it? Anna Kasparian and was it Cenk Uygur?
Yeah.
They're constantly arguing. They're constantly really pissed off at each other, and she keeps calling him out on shit, and it's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's fallen to
There are so many clips which people have showed me. It's like Anna Kasparian like freaking out at him, and he says, "Oh, you know, everyone's supporting Trump in the media," and they're saying, "Oh, he's not the fight." It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, Cenk?
Yeah.
Everyone in the media is constantly shitting on Trump all the time.
The
What do you want
whole
about?
industry.
What the
That's
fuck?
the
How the
foundation of
fuck?
Twitter. Is shitting
How
on
the
Trump.
fuck could you possibly come to that conclusion? That the
It's because
media
Cenk
is
Uygur's a fucking backwards idiot.
What?
He's just
I'm
he
just
makes
not-
up shit. That's all he does. And that's coming from someone who used to watch the Young Turks when I was
Like,
a
even
wee
Fox
lad.
isn't, like,
we lad,
even
Jesus.
Fox isn't, like,
I was
that.
16 years old during the election, and I was someone who watched the Young Turks religiously
Oh god.
until I watched this guy called the Dishonored Wolf, who slowly opened my eyes to how retarded feminism was.
At least you were
Uh-oh.
converted
You were
to
like
the
a
correct
distant baby.
religion.
If only there's a worldwide social media network where bowls of soup knock on your door to stop you.
Not only should we
gazpacho
not ban hate speech,
We'll
but
turn you
everyone
on the
should
right
have
path.
to. Everyone
I still
should
don't
have to be
understand how
forced
you
at
mixed up
gunpoint
the
to post the
Gestapo with the
N-words.
Gazpacho.
I think I realized it
Gestapo for the thing. Gestapo. What the fuck is?
because I was thinking of when I was young. I played Webkins, and there was a chef man called Chef Gazpacho, and I got them mixed up because they sound similar. Okay,
Gestapo.
Is that why you
Gazpacho.
can't spell cheddar?
that I'm just illiterate. That's the only explanation for that.
You're literally
Yeah,
illiterate.
Literally, no. That's a whole ass thing about how Cedar was taken in a game, so I had to add another consonant, and I just stuck with it.
Wow.
Wow, yeah,
Wow.
that's the deep lore.
Cool story, bro.
Cool story,
more
bro. No one
dinosaurs.
cares. Let's move on.
The more you know, like thing.
The more you know about the Cedar, I kind of like the confusion. I think it's funny, and people calling me whatever the fuck they want.
Cedar.
Cedar.
I prefer cheddar.
Cheddar. Cheddar's cute. See, I like that. That's kind of why I didn't want to go back to Cedar completely.
Darth Cedar.
I want to be confusing
I am-
to people. That's great. That's fantastic.
To hear the tragedy of Darth Cheddar.
Look,
They're
have you
stupid.
talked to me enough to know that that's just kind of half of my thing.
The lore.
I want a
The
really
lore.
strange
Don't worry.
Gaelic name
Don't
that
worry.
no
Don't
one can
worry.
pronounce.
I've taught you enough.
Yeah, it's just something that kind of comes with the territory. I have tried.
Gazpacho was not the weirdest thing I've heard Cedar say.
Well, I think on the same stream, I said something about. Oh wait, maybe it wasn't on stream. About turned 2021. Immediately tore off my mask and ran into the streets and took a dump because I'm free of the quarantine.
Now that is based.
That is based.
Return to tradition. Shit in the streets.
We can't
Shiny.
refuse to poo in the loo. No poo in the loo.
Reject the industrial revolution of plumbing.
You know, this is why I really love stream memes.
Thing.
Like, stream memes are always just beautiful.
Beautiful, natural.
This is a problem with the First Amendment? Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not.
And this is why, on the morning nonsense, the stream meme started for a completely different reason. It was an online dating, not an online dating game. It was the SJW dating game. I can't remember what it was now.
Oh,
the KFC one. Is that
SJW? We know. I have to look it up now because it's probably pinned. Oh no, it isn't. I thought someone fucking removed it from pins. Validate. That was it. We started joking about Validate, and I said, you know what, people, I'm gonna make a channel so you can joke about it. And I put in a bunch. I said, go out. I told them to go out and make memes, and they did, and they came back covered in blood, but they felt clean. Now, why did they feel clean? Because they were clean. And then they just
declare, go forth and meme my children.
I swear, I don't know why
that
was so
popular. That was the beginning of stream memes, then people just started making memes of what we say on the stream, then it was
the most overly used quote from DS9 I've heard from you guys, and I don't know why. It's just...
Is that where that's from?
It's perfect.
I haven't seen DS9 yet.
How can you not say that quote's perfect? Devil uses it all the time, and I love it. There's so many situations where you can use it.
I
also like that. What's the one about
the
penis?
A lying a desk job guy trying to pose as a general is ordering his men to kill people and making them feel good about it. I'm like, what?
Okay, because we joke about the SJWs going out there and ruining franchises, but they feel clean.
And why did they feel clean?
They feel clean and empty. Because
I told people to go out there and start destroying Star Wars, and they did, and they came back covered in blood.
But they felt clean.
Or when we say, I told people to go out there, and they started critiquing Star Wars, and they did, and they came back covered in bad writing, but they felt clean. Now, why did they feel clean, Major? Because they were clean. There you go.
Always has been.
And it is just perfect, and it's always hilarious.
Is it a YouTube channel? I have to go subscribe to this now.
What?
Is it a YouTube channel or?
What are you about? We talk about morning nonsense with LiteratureDevil on his channel.
Okay, sorry. What I mean is, channel me.
What an amazing plug! That was.
What are you on? What? Cedar, what are you on about?
Shut the fuck up, Hawk.
Whoa, hang on. Why is it only me who gets shouted at?
Because you're the one signed. It was
What?
You're talking about stream memes.
Oh, is
that a channel?
Yeah.
It's
in. Is it on his Discord?
It's on Dr. Alpha's Hideout, and it's a channel called Stream Memes, and it's just a bunch of things like we'll talk on stream about. I don't know how much fucked Baby Yoda is after Luke goes dark side or sees a bit of dark side in him, and then they'll create a meme about that in there.
I love how funny Baby Yoda looks when you know the bit where what is the episode where he looks like he's got wheels and he's like just goes along the floor, he like scuttles along the floor. The frog lady puts him down and he just like kind of scurries away.
Which he definitely is on wheels because he's a puppet, but like, damn, Disney,
also,
you can't.
Occupation Army, if you're going to do the hashtag blame Hawk, at least spell my name correctly.
Got him.
Damn.
Damn!
Damn!
Today's stream is
Fucking
supported by
meme.
some random restaurant down in Toronto. God damn it! What other meme have you?
It's been a while since
not
we've
it,
had
but-
like a lot, like a huge barrage of fantastic stream memes.
Get it going. Just get me along.
Just it
And
is
I'll give you all the
January, so
random
Maggie
fuck.
May Fish is going to be up soon. So don't worry, you'll get something.
Maggie Mayfish. Ooh, what's the next Maggie Mayfish video?
I don't
We
know.
just randomly let Dunn choose it, and then he never shows up.
When are we doing that? Is it that Lindsay Ellis one?
It's the number 5 voting is really popular. Everyone's voting on that a lot for whatever reason. So yeah, who knows? We'll find out. This one beat out a lot of the others. So I'm glad you guys are voting. And that reminds me, yes, please come back to the suggestions part of the Discord and give me your ideas. I did take out the everyone comments on the suggestions, so we don't get any people messaging everyone. That's always a good thing on Discord. As well as I'll be deleting any bad animated GIFs, which I think are unsavory. So
They're a little too saucy for the Smud.
Huge
Discord.
bunkers.
they don't deserve to exist. Let's just say that they should be destroyed. So
They are full of sin. Smud declares it.
just not on my
Heresy.
yeah, just eliminate it.
No cold soup here.
Well, I like gazpacho actually, but not red. I like green gazpacho, but that's just me.
I've never had either.
Gazpacho soup.
All right,
Is it-
Sorry, Kyle.
ladies and gentlemen, let's close up. Thanks for coming. That was a 9-minute video of
He stretched out for 3 hours.
extra politics as opposed to extra credits. But my God, these guys are always gonna, I don't know, drop the ball. What's the word we give these people?
Small brain.
This
Small
is-
brain,
This is
small
this is,
mind.
this is embarrassing. This is such an embarrassing video.
Honestly, yeah. Like, how could you even try to we're starting a conversation? These are
dialogue.
that's just a coward's excuse.
Anyway, I
starting a
want to
dialogue.
start a
Shut up,
communist
shut up, shut up,
totalitarian
shut up.
state.
Do we
Shut up,
want to
I'm
do
starting
it?
a dialogue.
Probably
Shut up.
not.
Shut up. I'm starting a dialogue.
Shut up! I'm trying to start a dialogue here.
I'm trying to start a dialogue. Stop talking.
So keep with the suggestions on the Discord. I do appreciate that. Keep voting from 1 to 5. We have 5 channels there. You guys can put a little happy face, whatever the face is, next to the video you want to watch, or I'll have us cover. And that's how it works. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. I don't know what's happening tomorrow with LitDev's stream. I think he wants me on for some comment that was on one of my videos today. So maybe we'll cover that tomorrow morning. So I might see you guys there if he's going to do that. If not, I'll see you soon anyway.
Yeah.
But thanks.
Oh, we've got another super chat. We've got another super chat. Just
Sneaking right in there.
Ultimate Fatty, how can you be so wholesome and have Smud in your name? I don't know if Smud is actually a thing, so I don't know how you.
Well, it's close to smut, I
Message
guess.
coming in.
That's what he's on about.
Patching it through.
People
So-
like smudge.
Yeah.
Smut boy.
They like smut. They like smug. They like
That's gonna be in the stream memes now. It's just gonna be like
smack
boy.
my head.
Smutty,
Oh
smutty
no,
boy.
it's just gonna be
Oh,
like
no.
Rule 34.
Oh
Yeah.
no! Oh no!
I
Someone's
mean-
gonna
You see,
slut boy.
Cedar,
Oh,
this is
God.
how you do it. You get actual words people can pronounce, and then you play around with the pronunciation. Not Sidar or whatever
smut boy.
you're attempting.
Cigar. Like
Setter?
cigar. I like.
Sarcastic
Look,
hate.
you know what? It's creative. You know,
Oh.
it's
Dull
new.
face. Funny, it's just about exactly
You
like
should
dolphin.
change it. You should change your name to Gazpacho for just like a
Oh.
week or something.
Gazpacho Queen.
I will make a video dedicated to the gazpacho. Oh my god, it's just gonna be the what is it?
Oh,
Don falling the Hitler scene. When instead of
I've actually, if you do that, I have got a clip that you can use for Gazpacho soup.
Oh my god, just send it to me. But anyway.
All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you real soon and hope to see you tomorrow morning. Goodbye.